Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world. Pull up a chair. It's time to get down to the business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. Glad to have you all with us here for this program. A few things I had on my mind, so I wanted to go ahead and go over that. It's actually something I wanted to talk about here last week. A lot of people have talked about it, but very, very few of them have given you any type of articulate or accurate assessment of it. So this is going to be us taking this opportunity to go ahead and set things straight for you. Because as usual, the problem is most of you, the information that you're going to get is from individuals espousing the red pill. And we have already gone into detail about why the red pill is inaccurate and unreliable. So it's time for you to get the word directly from the black book, not the red pill. And I wanted to do something here to address comments that were made by one Tomi Lahren. Tomi Lahren is a right-wing commentator, if you will. Her rise to fame simply began because she was in her 20s, early 20s. And that's really where it came from. So she was supposed to be this fresh face out of college. And basically she had, the look and appearance that a lot of conservative white males go for. And that's fine. To each his own. Well, over the last few years, however, Tomi has started espousing some things that they didn't like and don't like. And a lot of you have been getting it the wrong way. A lot of folk have talked about this and gotten it mostly wrong. And there's some insights that I believe that you would be well served to be able to benefit from. And that's what we're here for now. So go ahead and strap in. We're going to go ahead and give you all the things about this that no one else has talked about because no one else can. So what I want to do here, I do have a new setup, so I'm going to go ahead here. You ought to be able to hear everything just fine. We'll be making some adjustments along the way. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and play for you the video here. I'm going to be stopping it so that you can hear what was said and get the insight of exactly what it is being told here. And you're going to hear things you haven't heard anywhere else because these other folks just don't know. We're not guessing our way through it. So with no further ado, this is what she said.
What's up? I'm going to let you guys trickle in before I start talking because this is important. So, waiting for you guys to get here. So, normally I do final thoughts and I do Instagram lives and I do rants about politics. There's plenty to talk about in politics right now. Do it every day. It's a great time. But something, as of recently, has been on my mind. And I consider myself a teacher, a helper, someone who could possibly inspire people to be better. So, with that being said, this is a PSA for all the men out there and all the boys who think they're men, but they're actually boys. This is going to be the summer of canceling boys.
All right. First mistake that you make. Women are not qualified to determine, dictate, or say what qualifies as manhood versus boyhood. This is a mistake that we see women of the modern era make across, racial lines and everything else. And that's the first thing I want to point out here. The other folk here didn't remind you all of this, but first and foremost, a woman cannot sit here and lecture men about what it is to be a man. Because what will come next after she says that you're a boy or you're not a man or that your manhood is deficient, of course this begs the question, what would give me sufficient enough manhood to satisfy you? And at that point she's going to give you a laundry list of things that she wants, not characteristics that actually define men, but it's a shaming tactic meant to break you down so that you acquiesce and give her what she she wants, but not telling you or coaching you about what it is that exemplifies manhood. Because there's something you got to understand. A lot of things, a woman is supposed to offer to a man the things he does not have, not the things he's already got. She's supposed to be that which compliments him with things he doesn't have, and vice versa. A man is supposed to compliment a woman with characteristics and traits that she does not possess. So when a woman tells you she doesn't like something you're doing, yeah, that's part of manhood. That's a part of manhood. Women being dissatisfied with something you do or not pleased with it, that's being a man. I'm not saying that everything you do is supposed to tick her off, but being a man, yeah, a lot of what we're going to do is going to be stuff you don't like. Just like you all going to the bathroom for 3 hours just to put on makeup. Or you have to have 50 pairs of underwear and a different pair of shoes for every day of the year. And you have to get your hair done this way or that way, or it's a bad day, or your belt loops have to match, or your belt has to match the straps on your shoes. There's a bunch of quirky things that women do that we don't like, that we as men consider to be very immature, very girl-ish, very childish. Women get together and are just super giddy when they meet each other. Hey girl, hi! And it's all that old stuff. They're jumping around like a bunch of children. We witness it. But if we were to remove that from you, you'd be more like us. And we appreciate the differences between us. We don't see it as something that we have to go to war against or battle against. So first and foremost, we are going to acknowledge that she's making, the first mistake that she's making is to try to dictate to men what it is that makes you a man. Let's just be very clear about that. You have no business opening your mouth to attempt to lecture us about what it means to be a man. So that's the first problem. And yes, we are live right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, you see the thing say live. We are currently live. Not going to sit here and lecture you about Kamala Harris, the vice presidential candidates. So let's see what she has to say here next.
This is a PSA for all the men out there and all the boys who think they're men, but they're actually boys. This is going to be the summer of canceling boys. Now, from my own personal experiences and the experiences of all of my friends, which range in age from 24 to 36, we've all got issues. Now, I will...
All right, from the ages of 24 to 36. So, ladies, this is a cautionary tale. This is a cautionary tale of what happens if you screw off your sexual prime. Most females of this era, and Tomi Lahren is one of them, most of them see their early 20s as a sexual playground where all she does is have to go around. She don't need no man. I can make my own money. Men are here to amuse me. They're here for fun. I don't want to get married because getting married would mean that I am going to have to acquiesce to a man. I ain't interested in marriage. And everybody wants to play this game today because they're all making the same fallacious assumption. The men who are begging for my attention, that same caliber of men who were most acquiescing and catering to me between the ages of 18 and 25, those men will all still be equally as interested in catering to me when I'm 28, 30, 35, 38, 40, 48. I can play around as long as I want to. They will be waiting around patiently waiting for me to decide that I am going to become available. So what she's doing now is expressing with that specific age range. When you hear men say a woman's old when she gets past 25, she's now realizing that she's screwed around all this time. And at this point right now, I think she's like 27, 28. And she's realizing, oh hell, that window has eclipsed. That window has closed. And the men no longer see her or give her the deference they did just a couple of years ago. She has begun the process of becoming expendable. Now that doesn't mean that she's undesirable to them necessarily, but she's noticing that she doesn't have the potency she once had. That she's not able to yank the leash and they go yelping. So she's as women are, she's hypersensitive to this change in male response to her. And she's letting you know, her and her friends, because hoes travel in packs, her and her female friends, yeah, you're all validating that this is an objective reality. It's not an opinion. It is an objective reality. It's objective. That's what you have to understand.
I'll also say this. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on.
Next problem here. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. Now, your red pill dudes are going to latch on to all my friends are successful. This is why you come here for the black book, not the red pill. The red pill is very simplistic. It's not fully fleshed out or thought out. They're still working their way and guessing their way through it. What she said first, all my friends are attractive. Attractive to whom? That's the first thing we need to get clear. All of your friends are attractive. Attractive to whom? Whom are they attractive to? Are they your definition of attractive, Tommy? Are you the one saying that? Because men, we all know. Y'all know full damn well if you got a female friend, girlfriend, whatever, they'll suddenly find some fat chick and tell you, well, she's cute. And you're like, cute where? She got a cute face. That's easy for a female to look at another female and say, she's got a cute face. You are not sexually interested in her holistically, in her entirety. A man is sexually interested in a woman from head to toe. We're not just interested in a face, except for broke dudes who have no options. Broke fellas who have no options, they have to isolate their interests to a singular body part because he doesn't have the leverage to actually demand more. So he's just got to be a breast man or an ass man or a thigh man because he doesn't qualify for a complete female. So what he has to do is compartmentalize his desires. Oh, this is the black book. No, the red pill dudes don't tell you this because they don't know it. A lot of them are learning right now as they're listening to me. So take notes, fellas. Take notes. They have to compartmentalize their desires to a singular body part because he doesn't have the ability to appeal to a female who is complete. She's got better options in men. So when a woman sits up here and tells you all my friends are attractive, attractive to whom? So because she's claiming that the authority with which she speaks is that she's got a bunch of other females that she's able to test this hypothesis with. But we are unable to gauge the validity of the other females. So without being able to do that, in reality, you don't have multiple people validating what you're saying, Tommy. We just have your word for it. We just have your word for it. And whatever your personal definition of, quote, attractive is, whatever that may be. So we're dealing with an unreliable source of information. What was the first lesson that I taught you all in the dark arts of game when it comes to women? What was lesson number 1 from the dark arts of game? That women are unreliable sources of information, and that includes your mother. If you don't have the black book, you don't have the full picture.
Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. And
all right, so all of her friends are attractive, and just about every single one of them has an issue with men. That's a hell of a way to start, because if men said that, I have a bunch of guy friends, and pretty much all of us have an issue with women. The women would be like, well, if you're approaching women with an attitude of hostility or an expectation of hostility, then everything else is going to be downhill from there. Everything else is going to be downhill. So this doesn't particularly bode very well, does it? I don't think this is really where you want to start this.
Have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. And you have to start looking at that and thinking, if an age range of that many people, including myself, living really all over the country and being blonde, brunette, short hair, long hair, I mean, tan, super white, super pale. I mean, these women range in every body type and everything.
All right, Tommy just told her first lie, and this is why you have to have the black book. She just told her first lie. Did you hear what she said? These are women who are blonde, brunette. They're super white, super pale. I don't know what the hell she was saying. She's speaking for white women. And I think there's lessons to be learned from this. I mean, you're dealing with the dominant society here. So if y'all want to know what the inadequacy is of the red pill is a white construct meant for the purposes and intended for the sole purposes of communicating to white men and white people. And everybody else attempting to be part of their audience and graft themselves onto it, it's not going to serve you. As I've reminded you all before, your white red pill guys, they don't mind talking this stuff with black men, but as soon as one of their black friends starts asking how it is you can pick up white chicks, them dudes are going to start clamming up on you. You're getting the black book right now in the chat room. How you get the black book? I'm giving it to you right now. Game is supposed to be sold, not told, but I'm breaking it off for free over here. This is how good we are about this. Supposed to be sold and not told, but we're breaking it off for free. In any case, you have to excuse us here. My yard man is sitting up here making a bunch of noise, but we're going to get through this. So what you right now, you just ran into somebody who's talking to you about male-female dynamics, and yet they are introducing a racial dynamic. Now, I say that's a good thing. I've always said that's a good thing because there is a racial dynamic. And you know, a lot of these dudes coon out when they try to act like there's not one. All women are not the same. Yes, there are a lot of good generalities that you can rely on. That's fine. But all women are not the same. And their expectations are not all the same. So just understand that when she starts talking about the women and the friends she's referring to, she's not talking about non-white women. She's talking about white women. There's still valuable information to get here. Don't get me wrong. But understand that there is a racial dynamic at play. Your red pill community will stay away from that altogether because what's understood ain't got to be explained. So they understand that there's a racial dynamic, and that even though you can understand the English language, you don't understand the inference and the meaning of what it really means. So just understand, she just kicked it there and said, well, these are about my friends, and they're super white and super pale, and there's no, it does matter. It does matter. Even if it's nuanced, it does matter. And the fact is, she backed off from saying they're white, they're black, of every ethnicity, of every race. She doesn't say that. She doesn't say I have friends of every race, every ethnicity. Notice she doesn't say that. These are important. This is not, this is not nitpicking. This is not, irrelevant details. This is important. The fact that she backed off of saying that, because that's what she was starting to say. She backed off of it to the point that at the end, they're super white, super baby. She smears it because you're supposed to say super white, super black. They're white, they're black, they're brown, they're Asian, but she can't say that. So there's a specific audience that she's talking to, but there's things that you can learn from this. She's talking to men of the dominant society, of white society, but there's lessons to be learned.
Short hair, long hair, tan, super white, super pale. These women range in every body type and everything. They're all successful, they're all intelligent, they're all good people. But if all of these...
All right, now did you catch that last one? These are women who range of every body type. Oh, people, we're doing an exhaustive dissection. Did you notice she said women who range of every body type? Does that body type include Kirstie Alley and Rosie O'Donnell? Are those some of the, quote, attractive females that she was referring to earlier? Notice I said that earlier, and sure enough, you talk to her long enough. What body types are you referring to, ma'am? She's trying to make it seem, I know everybody and this gives me authority to speak. No, you're not making distinctions, and you're not discriminating. And men of means who have options, they make distinctions and they make discriminations. So you can't just sit up here and bring your cast-offs and say, oh, well, this should qualify. Not going to work that way.
These women range in every body type and everything. They're all successful, they're all intelligent, they're all good people. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think, it might not be us.
Now, you know that she keeps using that phrase. They're all intelligent, they're all successful. We're all successful. We're successful. First of all, you're not successful at understanding men. Men are the simplest creatures on the damn planet. And yet, you have not succeeded at understanding the simplest creature on the planet. You have failed at that. Oh, the irony. You keep touting your success, and yet you have failed at understanding men. You have failed to succeed at that. Think about that for just a few moments while you're breaking your arm, patting yourself on the back about how intelligent and successful you all are, but you're not intelligent enough to succeed at appealing to the simplest creature on the planet. Now, it would be very easy for me to say that men are not impressed by how, quote, successful a woman is. That's very easy to say. I'm here to, everybody else is going to catch on to that one and latch onto that part really quickly. I want you all to understand, I'm going at the points that other people aren't bringing up. The red pill community and whatnot, Rollo Tomasi and friends, no disrespect, but I just have to be honest about it. These are things you all can't say because you don't know. Now, you will know after today, and this will start informing their thoughts going forward, but nobody's saying this kind of stuff here. She goes on to say,
it might be you. It might be men. It might be men. Now, I've often talked about the pussification of America and how men are no longer men. I talk to my mom about this a lot, and she says, well...
All right. So she says she's talking about how men have become felines and they are, quote, no longer men. Once again, who is making that determination that what you see from men does not qualify as manhood? Who's making that determination? The woman on the screen. Remember what I told you at the beginning. But that's precisely the reason that women cannot speak on this, because women are not going to define manhood as what is in the best interest of the man. Do you all get that? Women are never going to define manhood as what is in the best interest of the man. She's going to define manhood as what is in the best interest of her. What is in her best interest. Not what's in your best interest as a man. Not what serves your interest as a man. Notice she doesn't criticize her hypergamous behavior from her early 20s, but that was in her best interest as a female, or at least in her immediate best interest at the time. She was all in favor of it then. She's not liking the result of it, but she was all in favor of it. However, you're in a situation where now she wants to tell men that you're not being men. What she's not going to say is, wait a minute, are the men taking advantage of a situation? Because what you're expressing, and here's the whole point about her video, what she's expressing is that the way that men are treating her doesn't work for her. She's saying the way that your guys are treating me don't work for me. But Tommy, what if the way that men are treating you works for them? What if it's to their advantage? You want to say that men behaving in their own self-interest and what's to their advantage, that's not being a man? So now you're trying to say not that you guys are taking advantage of a situation, but it's you're being unmanly. Why? Because they're using the circumstances and using the situation to their advantage the same way that you did and you still continue to do as a female. So it's right when you do it, but it's wrong when the men do it. It's unmanly. Think about that for a few moments. Once again, you haven't heard this analysis anywhere else, and you won't. They don't know.
I've often talked about the pussification of America and how men are no longer men. I talk to my mom about this a lot, and she says, well, maybe it's just the guys in Texas. Maybe it's just the guys in Los Angeles. Maybe it's just the guys... It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and it's not...
All right. Did you hear who she said she talked to? Oh, yes. We are reducing this down to the DNA. She said, I talked to my mom. Do you notice she didn't say she talked to her dad? Now, I don't know if her dad's still alive or whatnot, or if she has contact with him or whatever. But do you notice that she said she has an issue with men? She didn't go find a older man, a man with some authority to speak as a man. She said, I went and talked to my mama. Though, as I explained to you all in my first edition of the Dark Arts of Game, the most unreliable source of information you can go to, that's who she went to. And she's back here now to regale us with the metric tons of institutional knowledge that she has received from her mother. After I've explained to you that that's an unreliable source of information. Or at the very least, people, why didn't she talk to her mom and her dad so she could get balance? Even if you don't believe that your father is an authority, why didn't you make it a priority to talk to him at least so you can get balance? At least so you can get balance. So even among the dominant society, you've got a pathology of looking in the wrong places.
my mom about this a lot, and she says, well, maybe it's just, I've often talked about the pussification of America and how men are no longer men. I talk to my mom about this a lot, and she says, well, maybe it's just the guys in Texas. Maybe it's just the guys in Los Angeles. Maybe it's just the guys, it is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country in the age range of about 20 to, I think, about 55, maybe even 60.
All right. So she tells you that she talked to her mom. She talked to her mom. And she told her mom, I've been all over the country. I think originally Tomi is from Los Angeles and moved to Nashville, Tennessee. Because she's in Nashville, Tennessee now. But she said, I've been all over the country. And then she says, and they're trash everywhere. Now, she walks this back in a later video, but she really just said what she really meant. Men are trash. The men, as far as she's concerned, men as a group are trash everywhere. It's just everywhere. It's a problem. So this is what she's up against. And her mother, I guess, was trying to talk some sense into her. And say, well, maybe it's just where you're at. That's mom's nice way. Mama don't want to just come out and say, baby, maybe it's just you. I mean, you've always been a bit of a ass and hard to deal with. Maybe it's just you. So mama says, well, maybe it's just the guys where you are. No, your daughter is the only common denominator. And she's not objective. By definition, she cannot be objective. But that's where she's at.
Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country in the age range of about 20 to, I think, about 55, maybe even 60.
Now, once again, did you notice that when it came to her female friends, she said the age range was 26 to 34? I think that was what she said. 28 to 34, 28 to 36. I want to go back and go play that again, but for them, it was just the late 20s to early 30s for her and her friends. But for the men, oh man, for the men, take a look at how wide that gap is that she assigns to the men. For the women, it's just a small little crack in the sidewalk. For the men, it's this chasm. She makes a blanket indictment.
Guys in Texas. Maybe it's just the guys in Los Angeles. Maybe it's just the guys. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country in the age range of about 20 to, I think, about 55, maybe even 60. A lot of men are trash. A lot of men don't know how to treat women. A lot of men don't know how to really, quite frankly, pull their heads out of the sand and pay attention. So
now, do you listen to what her complaints are? So basically, she has indicted the overwhelming majority of men as being trash from the ages of 20 to 60. That's a damn near half a century gap. People, that means Tomi Lahren has dated at 24, 25, maybe 22, 23, 24, 25. If in the last 5 years, that means she's been out with some dudes old enough to be her dad. That's fine, perfectly fine. But baby, if you've been flexing your femininity across this wide of a spectrum of men and you're not liking the results you're getting, there's only one common denominator here. When you've opened up your options that wide and nothing's working for you, you need to wake up or be alone. But did you all get that she said that from the ages of 20 to 60? And don't think that she's playing. She worked at Fox News. Plenty of 60-year-old white men running around there. Now, Listen to what she said her complaint was about them. After she says what their age is, listen to what she says the complaint is. And this is very key.
It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. They, quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country. In the age range of about 20 to, I think, about 55, maybe even 60. A lot of men are trash. A lot of men don't know how to treat women. A lot of men don't know how to really, quite frankly, pull their heads out of the sand and pay attention. So,
a lot of men don't know how to treat women. What the hell does that mean? Don't know how to treat women. Did he leave you at the mall? Did he drop a bucket of French fries on you at Five Guys? What, did he put mirrors on the front of his shoes so he could look up your skirt? What do you mean, don't know how to treat women? What the hell does that mean? Remember what I said before. What it means is she's trying to shame you into obeying. Not into doing what is in your best interest, but into doing what is in hers. So she's not even really specific at this point about what it means to don't know how to treat women. Maybe she'll get a little more specific a little bit later. Maybe.
I am going to help you. And these are some of the things that I've experienced, and these are some of the things my friends have experienced. I'm just going to lay a few things out. They haven't all happened to me. Some of them have just happened to my friends. A lot of them have happened to me. So,
okay, first of all, let me stop you again. Do you realize how many damn times this woman says, I, me, me, I, me? Happened to me, happened to I, happened to me, I. She's not even hearing herself because she's so narcissistic and self-absorbed. And yes, I understand that women by nature are narcissistic and self-absorbed, but she is so narcissistic and self-absorbed, she doesn't even realize how many times everything comes back to me, I saw, me, my friends, me, my, I. Can you imagine having a conversation with a woman and you're trying to have a mutually beneficial relationship and her vocabulary revolves around me, myself, and I? Me, and I. Take a look at how many times she says me and I just over the course of 10 seconds.
A lot of men don't know how to really, quite frankly, pull their heads out of the sand and pay attention. So I am going to help you. And these are some of the things that I've experienced, and these are some of the things my friends have experienced. I'm just going to lay a few things out. They haven't all happened to me. Some of them have just happened to my friends. A lot of them have happened to me. So,
in 10 seconds, I counted 9 times. In about 10 seconds, she's going at it. Amazing.
Quite frankly, pull their heads out of the sand and pay attention. So I am going to help you. And these are some of the things that I've experienced, and these are some of the things my friends have experienced. I'm just going to lay a few things out. They haven't all happened to me. Some of them have just happened to my friends. A lot of them have happened to me. So, the first thing, and I've made notes, by the way. I've made notes. This is how invested I am in this, because I've been thinking about this for about 2 weeks solid now. First question for men. If you like a girl, if you're even somewhat interested in a girl, you need to ask yourself this question. Are you single? No, I don't mean are you kind of single, seeing 5 people, dating somebody, still kind of in a relationship, kind of broken up, kind of on again, off again, kind of married, kind of divorced. Are you actually single?
All right, let's go ahead and deal with this one. Your red pill community fumbled the ball and got it wrong. Very myopic. The problem with them is they have a list of talking points that they've been selling for years, and what they try to do is get situations like this to be prescribed to their talking points and say, well, I've mentioned this before. And so you're very, very limited. You become very monosyllabic, and you don't actually gain the ability to listen actively. Listen to what she just said there. And I'm going to back this up because I want you to hear this one more time. She said what problem number 1 is. Listen one more time.
If you like a girl, if you're even somewhat interested in a girl, you need to ask yourself this question. Are you single? No,
Okay.
I don't mean are you kind of how invested I am in this because I'm even somewhat interested in a girl. You need to ask yourself this question. Are you single? No, I don't mean are you kind of single, seeing 5 people, dating somebody, still kind of in a relationship, kind of broken up, kind of on again, off again, kind of married, kind of divorced. Are you actually single?
All right, first of all, let's just be very clear about this. Fellas and ladies listening right now, do women give a great googly damn whether a man is single when she wants him? Do women give a damn? Would women give a damn if Jason Momoa, Michael B. Jordan, Tom Cruise, you name them, if a woman wants a man, does she ask him if he's single? For those of you from high school to senior citizen, you know full damn well if a woman wants a man, does she ever ask, are you single? No. I mean single. Do they ever ask that? To the fellas listening to me right now, especially those of you means, if you're making $200,000, $250,000 a year or more, do they ever ask us that? Do they ever ask if we're single? Or do they just walk up and strike up a conversation and get to it? Do they ever ask us, a matter of fact, you know what? I just said too much. What I just said actually is inaccurate. You don't have to make that much money. You don't have to make that much money. You don't have to be that good looking because it's really relative to where you are. So let me retract what I just said about putting that financial requirement on it. To my brothers working at Home Depot, to the fellas out there working the utility job at AT&T, to my bartenders, do the women, when they're interested in you, does the woman start off by asking if you're single? Do they ever ask that? Ever? Hell no. When the woman wants you, she doesn't ask if you got another female. They never ask that. Especially in their early 20s, where Tomi just left. She just left her early 20s. She's now in her late 20s. And what is she complaining about? Oh, are you guys single? Wait a minute. Just a couple of years ago, you didn't give a damn if he was single. You know why? Because you were at the height of your sexual abilities. You felt most confident that if I want him, I can get him. And if he's with another female, I can take him. See, that's the way women reason in their early 20s. Come on, ladies, just be honest. You know, you feel like you that chick. And you know in your early 20s, fellas are most responsive to you. So you feel like I don't have to ask if he's single. If he ain't single when I met him, he's about to be. He might, if he's not alone before I start talking to him, he's gonna be alone after I get done. So you all know full damn well when you approach a man or meet a man, you don't give a damn if he's with somebody else. You are concerned about, well, don't worry, he gonna be with me. Oh, he's with you right now, but he's gonna be with me. So your chick is a minor issue. Your chick is a minor inconvenience. In the chat room, you said you get turned off if he's not single. That means that you're over the age of 25. That's what that means. You're over the age of 25 because you realize that you don't run the game runs you. Because at this point, a man not being single in their early 20s, the guys don't run the game, the females do. By the time you get into your late 20s, the dudes run the game. So yeah, you like, that turns me off. Yeah, because you're not running it no more. You don't run it anymore. So yeah, I can imagine it would turn you off completely. Yeah, you don't run it now. Now, back when you could take him from his wife, take him from his girlfriend, take him from his fiance, yeah, you loved it. It was perfectly fine when all the chips were stacked on your side. Now that it's not on your side anymore, yeah, you gotta be single. But that didn't matter when you met this dude when you were 21, 22, 23, 24. You didn't care about that. You were like, I can pull him. He might be with a chick, but I can pull him. Once you start losing your ability to spontaneously pull men, then you want to start tacking rules on. You want to start demanding rules of engagement. You want to start insisting on rules of engagement when you lose the ability to pull. And that's what Tomi is expressing now. She's upset because she's expressing, hey, I'm losing the ability to pull. I'm losing the ability to pull. And you ladies in the chat room, y'all need to quit that bull crap. There are enough men listening to me right now and enough women listening. Y'all sit up here and tell these lies in public, and that's just really unscrupulous of you and really pathetic. There's too many married men listening right now talking about, baby, they don't ever ask me. Sitting there with a ring on. They never ask. They never ask, so just knock it off. This is why women are unreliable sources of information, because if young women get in a room full of some of you older chicks, listen to me right now, you older chicks in the chat room, you'll sit here and misinform them. Knowing full damn well, if you had a shot at getting with a married man of means, if he expressed he was willing to leave his wife, or if you suspected you could get him to leave his wife, you'll sit up and whatever level of engagement you feel comfortable, like, well, I ain't breaking up his home, I'm just talking to him. I didn't tell him to come over, but if he does get more interested in me than he is in his wife, hey, that's just the way things went down. So you all sit here and say lies to these younger females. Older is over the age of 25, damn it. And definitely over the age of 28. So let's just be very clear about that. Y'all sit here and lie to these younger females, acting like you don't do things that you do. You act like you do not do things that you do. This is the way that women act. If a man wants a woman, if a woman wants a man, if he's the type of man that she desires and he's available, and by available, I mean she's got access to him. If she's able to contact him and talk to him one-on-one, she's going to start working him. She don't give a damn what his current arrangement is. She's concerned about what his arrangement will be. And that's women across the board. If there's a man she wants, she gonna go for him. She's gonna pull out all the stops. It's gonna be cutthroat. It's gonna be backstabbing. It's gonna be ruthless. The divorce courts are a testament to that. If a woman wants your man, she don't give a damn. How many females are sitting in the chat room right now gonna co-sign some of the gobbledygook you heard from some of these women in the chat room talking about, oh, I wouldn't go after a man if he wasn't single? How many of you would leave your girlfriends alone with your boyfriend or your husband? Your single girlfriends. Your single female friends that you know. If you were the fella driving an $80,000 car, he ain't got to be $100,000. Your fella's got a job with benefits, driving an $80,000 car, and from time to time he purchases you gifts. Would you leave your single girlfriends alone with him? He ain't rich. He's working class. But would you leave him alone with her? Any of them? While they sitting in the chat room telling you what they wouldn't do with him. How many females you got your relationship broken up, your marriage broken up by one of your single female friends who was telling you about what kind of men she wouldn't go after? How many of you are sitting here right now upset, been through it, where you got screwed over by one of your female friends who told you what she wouldn't do, or you witnessed her get with a guy that she said, the type of fella she said she wouldn't get with? Please, the men listening know this story. We got a bunch of names we could rattle off of females who went after a dude, the type of fella they swore they'd never go after. So please try this little old bull jive on some young dudes or some naive young females who don't know better. Don't come around other adults with this. It's just insulting to our intelligence and waste our time. If a woman wants a man, being single is no impediment. It's only an impediment when the men who are single start using it to their advantage and the woman can't pull anymore. When she's in her early 20s and she can pull, she don't give a damn about you being single. When she crosses that line where she's no longer fresh-faced and the men stop deferring to her, all of a sudden, whether you're single matters, because at that point, when women are in their late 20s, men start exercising their advantages. Because the men she's talking to are older. They're not a bunch of immature little young boys who have to cater to the females. Once we get in our late 20s, early 30s, we start getting the advantage. That's when they start saying, okay, he's got to be single, because now once males get into our late 20s, most of us have completely mastered being able to at least approach women and get women to respond. So at that point, being single is bad because you realize, oh, I can't pull him. He's just going to be juggling us. He's going to be juggling females. So in his early 20s, he couldn't juggle females. He was too socially awkward and not masterful enough or authoritative enough with females to be able to juggle them. Once we get in our late 20s, we've learned how to juggle them all successfully. Now it's like, okay, you got to be single now. Yeah, when you're in your 20s and I could pull you, it was all right for you to be just, it didn't matter if you were single. Now that you're old enough to be able to fight back, you got to be single. You got to be single. All of a sudden, when the fellas don't know how to juggle females, being single doesn't matter because you know he's up for grabs. Once he's mastered juggling them, yeah, okay, you got to give it up. Once he's proficient at juggling women, you want to take that from him. Next thing is, when we talk about, are you single? Now, this is what the red pill guys jumped on because this is their bread and butter. But by the way, women are never single. Especially in their early 20s, women are always entertaining, and I shouldn't even limit that to early 20s. Women are always entertaining back pocket dudes. Because a woman knows that once she's made contact with a male, expressed interest in him, she got him in her back pocket. Remember those guys that they just complained that they were upset? See, this is the dimension that the red pill dudes can't give you. Remember the guys that they just complained about, oh, are you single? Tomi is complaining about that, but when she wants constant male attention and validation from those guys who are not single, what she's saying is that you need to be single, which means you're not available to other women. Well, she's fine with that as long as she's not the other woman. But when she needs to be or is stuck in the condition of being the other woman and needs you to be willing to respond to women in general, no matter if you're in a relationship or not, now you're in the back pocket. So now the thing she just complained about, you're not single, they have no problem with that when you're occupying her back pocket. Women don't ask if you're single when they make you one of their, quote, male friends. Oh, we're having church. Am I giving you the dark arts a game? I'm supposed to do this at night. I'm not supposed to give you the dark arts during the game. The sun is shining. I'm supposed to wait till the witching hour when the moon is up to drop the dark arts on you. Okay, we during the day though. We're going to work the magic. We're going to give you the dark arts during the game. I got my magic wand over here. The cauldron is bubbling. We're going to make it do what it do. But when you're in the back pocket, she don't care if you're single. So when she's in her early 20s and she feels like you don't know how to juggle women and you're up for grabs, she doesn't care if you're single. But when you reach a point where you know how to juggle women, now she needs you to be single. But if she can put you in her back pocket, she doesn't care if you're single. Oh, so it's all about what's to her convenience. No, you never heard any of this before. You got to get the game from somebody who knows the game. And I don't just know the game, I know the business. So, when she says you have to be single, notice she doesn't say that the woman has to be single. Now, don't assume, the next thing she would tell you is, oh, well, that's a given. Actually, no, that's not a given. No, it is not a given. It is not a given, because just like she went through all of this parsing of words, you have to be single, not married single, not seeing someone single, not in a situationship single, not flirting single. You have to be single. But when you ask a woman if she's single, fellas, from around the world, of every shape, size, color, creed, nationality. How many of you have talked to a chick who swore up and down, told you she was single, and in the early days you met her, she said she was single, and you found out a couple of months later, oh, she's still talking to that dude? How many of us have not experienced that as men? How many of us have not met a female who we started talking to them and she telling you, oh, I'm single, I don't talk to nobody, and then she slipped up, the phone rang, somebody called, somebody came by, one of her friends tripped up and said something, and this, wait a minute, you talking to somebody else? Oh, he just a friend, that's just my ex, he only wanted to know where his books were. How many of these chicks have done that with you in college? Oh, he just wanted to get a book. He just wanted to come by and get a book. He just wanted to get a book from me. Come on now. Understand that. So all of us have been in that situation where some chick swore up and down that she was single, and then she slipped up and you found out, oh, she ain't single. And let's just be very clear. Women are never single. Fellas, women are never single. You know why it is? Because she got dudes at her job. Even if you cut her off from social media, even if you go around with her every waking moment that she's not at work, when she goes to work, she's cultivating male contacts at her job. If there are vendors who come to her job, she's friendly. The FedEx guy, the UPS guy. If she works in a hospital, the male nurses, the doctors, the specialists, the administrators, the medical vendors, the salesmen from the pharmaceutical companies. Folks, if she works at a college, the professors, the vendors, the FedEx guy, the administrators, the school president, because this is a female survival mechanism. No, your red pill never went into this. These are female survival mechanisms by necessity. Her nature by necessity is going to strongly encourage her to maintain multiple avenues. So unless you're at her job, sitting by her 24 hours a day, she's gonna say she was being friendly. Yeah, because it's in her nature to keep men agreeable to her just in case. So you don't really have the power or the ability to deny her sexual access to other men. You might tell yourself you do, but you don't. And she will assure you that she is going to voluntarily abandon her other male options. This is all a part of female strategy. She's going to tell you, oh, I've abandoned my other male options. But you go to her damn job. I don't give a damn if you've got the most teeth gnashing, eyebrow furrowed, cross-jawed, fist balled up, Mike Tyson built heifer you could ever imagine. She gets to her job. She knows how to get some act right. She knows how to get some act right around some men if she wants to get benefits. She knows how to get some act right. She knows how to do it. So your chick is single, all right. She's single as long as she wants to be with you. But understand, women are always out of necessity. Why do you think they have makeup? If your woman owns makeup, she's not single. I'm reading to you from the Black Book. If your woman owns makeup, she's not single. If your woman owns 2 pairs of high heels, she's not single. If your woman knows more than one hairstylist, she's not single. If your woman owns an outfit that shows cleavage, she's not single. You go ahead and tell yourself that. If your woman owns an outfit that shows cleavage, she's not single. If your woman owns a pair of pants, a pair of jeans that fits her rear end, she's not single. She's making sure that she keeps all the tools of the trade necessary so that at any given moment she can pull. Okay, fellas, did you ever ask your woman to wear makeup? If the answer is no, she got the makeup kit so that if at some point she needs to start pulling, she's got what she needs. Fellas, if she's already with you, why does she need makeup? If she's with you now, why does she need casual clothing that shows off her cleavage if she's with you? See, guys don't like to ask themselves these questions. It's one thing for something that she wears when she goes out with you, but if your woman left for work or school or vacation or a sabbatical or training or whatever with something that hugs her ass or shows off her breasts, she's going into the general public. It's like a safari. She's going into the wild. Why does your woman got you in the wild wearing an outfit that shows her breasts? If she is still going out into the wild with makeup and cleavage and tight jeans or tight skirts, your woman's not single, fellas. She ain't single. She is reserving her option to take advantage of her options. Let's just get past the bull crap. She's reserving her option to go back out there if she needs to. She's reserving her option to keep men friendly with her. And here's the other thing. Even if your woman never acts on it, you realize it's in her nature to keep men friendly with her. It's in her nature to do it. So even at your best, that's what you're up against. That's what you're dealing with. Women ain't single. Now, women are only single when they want to shame or demand that a man be single. But if a man engages in the exact same nature that his girlfriend or wife does when she's alone with other men, she's going to swear up and down you trying to holler. But let's just be very clear when it comes to this single thing, what it really means. These other folk didn't dissect it and break it down like this, but just understand what single really means.
Solid now. First question for men. If you like a girl, if you're even somewhat interested in a girl, you need to ask yourself this question. Are you single? No, I don't mean are you kind of single, seeing 5 people, dating somebody, still kind of in a relationship, kind of broken up, kind of on again, off again, kind of married, kind of divorced. Are you actually single? That means single. You have nobody. You have no complications. You have no attachments. You are actually single. That is the first question, believe it or not, that needs to be asked. And ladies, you should be asking it because in 2020, it's not a given anymore that a guy that's actively pursuing you is actually single. So that's the first thing.
And the first thing that comes to my mind is Lala Anthony. The next thing that comes to my mind is Jada Pinkett Smith. I mean, boy, do I even need to keep doing this, by the way. I just couldn't help it. Who's that? Megan? She was in the Transformers movies. I forget her name off the top of my head. but they'll tell me in the chat room here in just a moment. I forget not off the top of my head, but the brunette chick, Megan Fox. Single? I just couldn't help but think about that for a moment, though. Single? Really? Single? When you talking about in the 21st century what people aren't like. Hell, remember Adele? Adele just got divorced because she got her a black dude who helped her sing soprano. While we're talking about when people ain't really single, so I just thought that was what came to my mind. Okay, I digress.
It's not a given anymore that a guy that's actively pursuing you is actually single. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I think is very important that men don't seem to understand. There are very few women out there, and I'm speaking from personal experience as well as from all of my friends and all the women, quite frankly, that I talk to. There is not a woman out there that wants to be your pen pal. She doesn't want to get your texts, your good morning texts, your good night texts, your random through the day texts, if they don't follow up with a plan to act.
All right, gotta take issue with this. What you're referring to, Tommy, the red pill couldn't inform you all. You need the black book. She just described being friend zoned. Because in her explanation of this, she doesn't frame it in these terms or in this way. But fellas, people, she just described friend zoning someone. You're making me your pen pal. I can only communicate with you by text or by phone. That's friend zoning. Well, I don't want to have conversations with you, texting. I'm not looking for a pen pal or a conversation buddy. That's friend zoning someone. Now, she's making it seem like the fella is socially inept. No, she's talking about the guys who can pull. She's talking about men of means, men who are desired, men of resources, men that women want. She's talking about, yeah, you fellas who the women want, y'all are out here stringing us along. We don't want to be friend zoned. We don't want to be friend zoned. So understand what she's really saying right now. These other folk missed it. They didn't get it. It slipped right by them because they're trying to come at you with their preconceived notions that they're selling. I'm bringing you the game. She's telling you I don't want to be friend zoned. Now you all know what's going to happen next. I'll be damned. Women created friend zoning. What do you think all these dudes are out here complaining about? That a woman will have you in her phone and she'll text you and she might call you and you're her buddy, you're her work husband, you in the back pocket with 8 other niggas? Women created friend zoning and then are sitting up here extolling to you the perils and the hazards of friend zoning people. Right after they just did that. Think about that for just a few moments. Nobody likes to be friend zoned, but except when you're the one doing it. So what she's saying is her objection is that, well, you fellas shouldn't have the power to pull. You shouldn't have the power to juggle. A woman doesn't have to be single. She can juggle. And you fellas shouldn't be friend zoning. Now, us women, we need to friend zone because that's part of our dating strategy. And, you fellas, if y'all weren't so screwed up, we wouldn't have to friend zone you. But when it's the fellas, okay, you can't friend zone. But that's what she's describing.
You want to get your texts, your good morning texts, your good night texts, your random through the day texts, if they don't follow up with a plan to actually, here's the kicker, in person hang out. Now I know what you're saying, oh, it's COVID, people can't hang out in person. This has not been a 4-month problem. This has been a 5-year problem that I've...
All right, one more thing I want to point out here. She says this is not a 4-month problem. This is a 4-year, 5-year problem. Tomi Lahren is 28 years old. 5 years ago, she was 23. She's pushing 30 years old. She hears the ever increasing roar of the loss of her maximum sexual prowess and appeal. She's saying this, she's been hearing this noise, she's been witnessing this since she was 23. But the difference is she wasn't complaining at 23. She wasn't complaining when she was 23 and 24. She wasn't making videos like this. She's only complaining about it now. So if it wasn't a problem at 23 or 24, why is it suddenly a problem at 28? Why are you suddenly big mad in your feelings about it at 28? You know why.
You actually, here's the kicker, in person hang out. Now I know what you're saying, oh, it's COVID, people can't hang out in person. This has not been a 4-month problem. This has been a 5-year problem that I've experienced with men and my friends have experienced with men. Women do not want a pen pal. We don't want a texting pal. We quite frankly don't care if you text us all day or if you don't text us at all. If you're not going to make a plan to actually see us in person, not interested.
All right, now here's something else that your red pill dudes missed over, by the way. Did you all hear what she just said? For the fellas out there, I want you to listen to this part one more time, because did you all catch this? Because she said this multiple times. I want to play it one more time for you.
Experience with men. Women do not want a pen pal.
Oh! Women do not want a pen pal. So what you're saying is that if a woman tells her man that she's got a male friend and the only thing she desires to do with him is to write him, be his pen pal, we just occasionally exchange text messages. Did you all get that? Did you all see how she's sitting here snitching on it? Oh, we can have male friends. We can have male friends. Why? We just hang out. We just talk. Why? He's my work husband. We just chit chat. People, do you understand the levels of the business that we're giving you here? She just destroyed and completely debunked the argument that women, A, can have, or B, even desire to have male friends. If this text message isn't going somewhere, then I'm not interested in receiving it. So if any female ever tries to convince you that women just want male, that a woman actually can desire to have a male friend. I didn't say this. Tomi Lahren just destroyed this. Tomi Lahren just annihilated it. And do you see, I'm going to back this up because I want you to see the passion and the vitriol and the frustration that men are, when she's meeting men who are saying, you know what, let's just make you just a friend. Look at the level of frustration and hostility that she's expressing at the idea that all she can get from you is conversation. Would you fellas out here who say, well, a woman should just want some good conversation, you bummy dudes just need to go jump off a cliff. She's sitting here telling you, take a look at the amount of contempt that she is expressing at just the very suggestion from men, well, can't we just converse with nothing deeper?
You actually, here's the kicker, in person hang out. Now I know what you're saying, oh, it's COVID, people can't hang out in person. This has not been a 4-month problem. This has been a 5-year problem that I've experienced with men and my friends have experienced with men. Women do not want a pen pal. We don't want a texting pal. We quite frankly don't care if you text us all day or if you don't text us at all. If you're not going to make a plan to actually see us in person, not interested. And if you do have a woman out there that just wants to be your pen pal, it's probably because she has a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or whatever. We don't want a pen pal. Would that...
Do you see the level of disgust that she gave? Do you see the level of contempt that she gave? Do you see that? Do you see how upset she is at the very suggestion that you would say, well, can we just be friends? Can we just talk? She went on and on and on. I do not want to be your pen pal. Take a look at the level of that. I want this to sink in because nobody else has done this. I want to just go ahead and redo point number 1. And I want you to listen to it very intently because this is something you need to remember.
Experience as well as from all of my friends. You is actually single. Kind of in a relationship, kind of broken up. If you like a girl, if you're even somewhat interested in a girl, you need to ask yourself this question. Are you single? No, I don't mean are you kind of single, seeing 5 people, dating somebody, still kind of in a relationship, kind of broken up, kind of on again, off again, kind of married, kind of divorced. Are you actually single? That means single. You have nobody. You have no complications. You have no attachments. You are actually single. That is the first question, believe it or not, that needs to be asked. And ladies, you should be asking it because in 2020, it's not a given anymore that a guy that's actively pursuing you is actually single. So that's the first thing.
Look how her hostility is ramping up.
That men don't seem to understand. There are very few women out there, and I'm speaking from personal experience as well as from all of my friends and all the women, quite frankly, that I talk to.
Well, she's getting angrier.
Is not a woman out there that wants to be your pen pal. She doesn't want to get your texts, your good morning texts, your good night texts, your random through the day texts, if they don't follow up with a plan to actually, here's the kicker, in person, hang out. Now, I know what you're saying, oh, it's COVID, people can't hang out in person. This has not been a 4-month problem. This has been a 5-year problem that I've experienced with men and my friends have experienced with men. Women do not want a pen pal. We don't want a texting pal. We quite frankly don't care if you text us all day or if you don't text us at all. If you're not going to make a plan to actually see us in person, not interested.
That was brutal. Did you get that? That was brutal. Fellas, you want to talk about how heartless females can be? That was brutal. She just did a complete takedown of the idea that a woman can have female friends. She just expressed maximum contempt at the very suggestion that you would insist or say that a woman should want to have female friends. That was the most brutal takedown that you're probably going to hear. She was literally banging on the table. Literally banging on the table, screaming, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to have a friendly relationship. If our relationship is not going to lead to a situation where I am eligible for benefits and resources from you, or if I don't desire you, I don't want to hear from you. She just said it in no uncertain terms, as brutally and as blunt as she possibly could. I don't want to hear from you. So fellas, when a woman tells you that she has male friends, she has a work husband, if she starts talking, if you even suspect that she's being, quote, friendly with someone, this woman just expressed to you all, the male friend is a myth. It is a myth at best and a lie at worst. Male friend is a myth. It's a deception. There's no such cartoon character or fictional beast as a male friend. So I'm very glad if you learned anything from this rant by her, not by me, her rant, not mine. If you learned anything from it, take a look at how she started getting angrier and angrier and angrier about being friend zoned, because she was upset when we was talking about being single. She's like, hey, you shouldn't be single. But when we got to dudes putting her in their back pocket, and I don't want your text messages, I don't want you sidelining me, I'm not interested in hearing from you if it ain't going somewhere. Wow. That was brutal.
And if you do have a woman out there that just wants to be your pen pal, it's probably because she has a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or whatever. We don't want a pen pal. But that also leads me to my second point. This is going to be backwards for you guys. Make plans. Make a plan. Do not assume that you can text somebody randomly in the middle of the day, what are you doing? Or text them at midnight or 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or even just within hours of when you actually want to see them and think that they're going to be available. I personally, once I get home and I take my makeup off and I'm watching TV, I'm no longer interested. So if you didn't make a plan earlier in the day, or better yet, a day or 2 or 3 in advance, I'm not interested. I don't.
Okay, someone explain to me, how is it that a woman who makes millions of dollars a year, is an international figure who works for multi-billion dollar multinational companies, will someone explain to me how in the hell you got into a position of being people's booty call? Now you can see why she's so angry. I mean, do you notice that she's getting more angry and more hostile? She's beating on more objects. Yeah, because I'm Tomi Lahren. I'm not just the average female. I'm internationally known. Men around the world know who I am. They fill up my inbox offering all sorts of sexual dalliances. And yet, I got the dudes that I'm interested in are only interested in booty call situations. Tommy, do you think it's because you come across as a pretty harping shrew? Screeching like a bird of prey? Do you think that's got a point? Do you think that's got anything to do with it? That men have decided they're going to put you in a certain pocket and just leave you there because you don't qualify to get closer than that? Fellas, ladies, if you are in her situation or even close to it and dudes are treating you like that, they're letting you know, yeah, this is the position you need to play. Based on what you have expressed, this is your position. You need to play your position. Your position is third string. Your position is third string. That's where you at. We're going to put you there. You're going to play that position. What she's really expressing is her contempt at loss of power. She used to have all the power when she was in her early 20s. She's expressing how upset she is because you're not dealing with college dudes anymore. You're not dealing with dudes who don't have anything. You're dealing now with some men who got something, but the most important thing of all, they've got life experience dealing with women, and they're not desperate for sexual access with you because they've got options. And this is a lesson I want women, all the women listening to me right now, a bunch of y'all have tried this. You're role playing this game in your head where you're acting like her. Understand, it turns out the same for anybody. But she's expressing, how in the hell is it that I'm Tomi damn mean Lahren, international figure, and I'm in booty call status? It doesn't matter how much, ladies, your job doesn't matter to men. Your job title doesn't matter to us. Your success or accomplishment in the workplace does not matter to us. What you can do for us, specifically for us, not for your boss, not for your supervisor, not for your job, what you can specifically do for us is the most important thing to us. Not what you do for yourself, but what you are able to offer us. And too many of you get it confused because you are so heavily invested in your job that you need that to have value to us, and you're upset because you're realizing it has no value to us. And you're like, well, damn, I put all my eggs in the basket of this job. I need this to matter to you as much as it matters to me. Your job will never matter to a man who is not destitute and broke as much as it matters to you. To a man who's got his stuff and got it together, your job is irrelevant and meaningless. And that's why you're frustrated, Tommy, because you're meeting, what's happening, y'all, is she's meeting men of means. See, she's not upset because broke dudes are calling her in the middle of the night. She's upset because men of means, men of resources are calling her and saying, hey, can you get up and roll? Because men of resources are free. Listen carefully. You need to follow all the breadcrumbs as I lay them down. Men of resources are free. Men work so that we have free time. Women work so they can get a title. But chasing that title requires you to stay at the job all the time. Stay connected to it all the time. Men want to get affluent so we can get away from the job. We want freedom, not a job title. So you're meeting men of means, and he's like, hey, I got the means. Let's go to Paris. Let's go to Mexico. Let's go to Monterey. Let's go downtown. Let's do the damn thing. He can do it on a spur because he has freed up his life. And he called you because supposedly you were in the same situation and you were at the same level. And then you found out you weren't. So all the men that you want to be with, you can't be with them because your job doesn't matter. That's why they're calling you, because in their minds, your job doesn't matter. And you are offended because your job matters to you and you can't leave it as easy. You don't have as much freedom at your job. YouTube is hating. They hating heavy. There must be some Becky at YouTube hating the hell out of it. Well, I'm going to give you a hell of a lot more to hate on it. Don't worry, some hater at YouTube must have disconnected it because we talking about her life. She figured, oh, I'm over there on the TheBlackChannel there. They won't talk about that. Oh, and ran headlong into the truth you didn't like. All right. But we're back in the saddle. So she's realizing that men of means can be spontaneous. She's a woman who deceived herself into believing that just because she's a well-known employee, that she is also a woman of means, and thus would be compatible with a man of means. Men of means desire freedom to be spontaneous, and she found out she is not a woman of means. She's just an upper middle class employee who has to stay attached to her job. Otherwise, she can't maintain what she got. And she's taking horrendous offense because the men are treating her that way.
Home and I take my makeup off and I'm watching TV, I'm no longer interested. So if you didn't make a plan earlier in the day, or better yet, a day or 2 or 3 in advance, I'm not interested. I don't want to hang out anymore because that ship has sailed. Make a plan. I want to hang out with you at this time. It doesn't have to even be a date. I want to see you at this time. Are you free at this time? Or when are you free? I will accommodate my schedule to see you. When are you free? I want to see you. I know it's not rocket science, but men of 2020, it seems like it's pretty difficult for you to figure out. And I'm not a feminist, so please don't take this as a feminist rant. I love men. I think men are great. I think men have failed themselves, and they've failed us. And I'm just trying to help you out, because I think there are a lot of really great guys out there who need a little help. And I don't think that there are a lot of women that are stepping up and saying these things and not... FaceTime me, I swear to God. Quite frankly, I don't think that there are a lot of women that aren't raging feminists that don't look like Lena Dunham. They're saying these things to you, so I'm going to go ahead and say them because they need to be said. I am really so sick of my friends having to deal with trash men. I am tired of dealing with trash men, so I'm going to help you out. make plans. So let's go through these lists again because I know y'all love lists. Number 1, are you single? Number 2, make a plan. Nobody wants a pen pal. We want to actually see you. If not, don't text us because it's a waste of our time and we don't want to see it on our phones. Got it? All right. Next thing. Value. Okay? Value. Take that in. Just repeat it to yourself until it makes sense. Okay. If you want to date a girl that has nothing going on, then that's fine. But please do not mix in people like me and my friends who have something going on with your other girls that have nothing going on. And by nothing going on, I mean this. There is no job that is unimportant. There is no job that's not valuable or that's not worthy. It is. But if you want to mix in people like me and people like my friends who are go-getters, who work really hard, who make their own money, who are talented, skilled, ambitious, please don't mix us in with the Tatianas. We don't want to be there. If that's what you want, find them. Please.
Okay, but she's complaining because that's what most of the men that she's meeting, they are. What she really means is when she says Tatiana, this is woman shaming. So she's shaming any female who's not her. That's what she's saying. And this is what most women do. They try to shame men for their choices in women. Now, men are not allowed to shame women. They can go off and go have all the bastard babies they want. They can go ahead and rack up as high a body count as they want. They can have their draws in the streets as much as they want. You have to accept that as a man, that she's got sexual prerogative, but you're not allowed to do that. Now, understand what's going on here. Do you understand what her complaint is? Because this actually dovetails with the previous thing that she said. I'm not going to do like I did on the previous one and roll it all back and run it back and play it all again. But notice she said she's upset because these men of means that she meets, they spontaneously show up and just expect her to be available. And the error that she made was that these are men of means, and as men of means, they have freedom, and you deceived yourself into believing that you are a woman of means when in reality you are not. You're not two people of means. He's a man of means and you're a female employee who is fully invested in her job. Thus, you don't have a lot of free time. Next, she's saying, and don't confuse, now she broke it up into 2 points. Don't confuse me with the Tatianas who don't have anything going for themselves. So what she's saying is that she's upset because men of means have penalized her because she's so wrapped up in her job. Because notice what she said was the problem. What do I mean by value?
Who work really hard, who make their own, people like me and people like my friends who are go-getters, who work really hard, who make their own money, who are talented, skilled, ambitious. Please don't mix us in with the Tatianas. We don't want.
Women like me, we are go-getters, we work hard, we're talented. People, how much time does a woman have to hold a relationship? If she's telling you my being, what constitutes me as a person is I'm a go-getter, I work hard, my job, what I do is my profession. What she just articulated were all the reasons that men are putting her in their back pocket. But she's not framing it that way. She's framing it as, well, you just don't value. Ladies, listen to me right now. Especially black women, y'all are good about this. Your job, chasing your job, where's the man in that picture? What benefit is you're investing all of your time in a job? How does that benefit a man? You're sitting here telling us that I work 18, 19 hours a day. I'm a go-getter. I work hard. Okay, well, that means that if I'm a man of means, that means my spare time, I got to reserve that for somebody else because you simply won't be available. It doesn't matter how nice you are, cool you are, articulate you are, accomplished you are. Yeah, but you're not available. Hell, she's basically telling you that her job is her kid. Her job is her child. So she wants to come first for a man. Fellas, you got to be single. You got to have a plan. You have to value me. When she says value, she doesn't mean value. She means you have to value me. So you have to put her first. But this is right before she explains to you that, by the way, I will never put you first. As a matter of fact, what you need to value about me is the very fact that I will not put you first. Listen to it one more time, just in case you thought there was some misunderstanding.
Valuable or that's not worthy, it is. But if you want to mix in people like me and people like my friends who are go-getters, who work really hard, who make their own money, who are talented, skilled, ambitious, please don't mix us in with the Tatianas. We don't want to be there. If that's what you want, find them. Please, for the love of God, do not mix us in with them because we don't want to be there. And quite frankly, we take it as an insult if we find out that you are also talking to 5 Tatianas who have nothing going on. People like me and my friends are going to be insulted by that. And there's almost really no coming back from it.
So that's the other thing right there. So if you're talking to 5 other Tatianas, females that you don't approve of, here's the problem. Men don't look for the things in women that women look for in a man. So you can call them Tatianas, but if a man is talking to a woman, it's because she's offering him something that he wants. She possesses something he wants. So rather than you getting mad and talking about these old bum-ass Tatianas, why don't you take a look at them and soak up the game, ladies? You need to look at them and soak up the game. And say, let me take a look at them and see if there's some holes in my game. If you are really that valuable, but you're losing to the Tatianas and the Bushikas and the Shantanikas and the Karens, if you're losing to them, that's because there's holes in your game. See, here's where most women get things wrong. Women don't like to be critical of themselves. If you ask a woman, you ask any woman in the chat room right now, you show me you're going to find a woman who says, my last relationship went bad and I was the cause of it. A woman will never tell you that. Women never say, my last relationship went bad and it was my fault. Now, if she does say it was my fault, she's going to say it was my fault because I stuck with that no good man so long. I loved him and he was no good and it's my fault because I stuck with him. No, women don't say, yeah, I messed up the relationship. I was the problem in the relationship. He was fine. I was the one who ruined it. Women don't take accountability. They refuse to be self-critical. And because of this, they're never able to be introspective and say, let me correct my mistakes. That arrogance robs them of the ability to correct their mistakes. So even in Tomi's case, she's articulating why it is the men are not doing what she wants. She's articulating it and ain't getting it. If you're trying to say that you're losing to lesser females, these women are not as valuable as me. You need to value. These women are less valuable to me. All right, you losing to the less valuable women. Oh, the problem is you men ain't no good. No, you got holes in your game and these other women are filling in the gaps that you're lacking. Or they may just have the total package and you're just deluding yourself. Consider that for a few moments. When she says you need to value, she means you need to value me. And then she's going to tell you, I work hard, I'm busy working hard, I'm busy building up my value. Ladies, building up her value. What value is Tomi building up? And I'm talking to all the women out there. When she said, I got my own money. You hear this from black women all the time. I got my own money. Very much poorest women in America, but okay. I got my own money. So what is the value for a man that you're building up? Because what if a man don't give a damn how much money you make? You say value, value. Okay, where is your value under those circumstances? If you're talking to a man who doesn't need your money because he's not some broke nick who's financially dependent on his broad, then where's the value you're bringing? Well, I bring money. I got money. What else you got? I got a job title. Well, I don't work where you work, and I'm not one of your subordinates, so they ain't got no value. What else you got? Well, I'm a go-getter. Wench, I'm a go-getter. I got enough hustle for me, you, and all your 12 fictional friends. What else you got? This is your third strike. So what she's telling you is she's disarmed. All the things she brings are things that men already have, but she's put all of her relevance on things that men have already got, and she's complaining that the men don't value it. No, we can't value something we already have. Remember what I said at the very outset. A woman's responsibility is to bring to us the things that we do not have, not to get us to triple down on stuff we've already got. But when a woman doesn't have what the man actually needs, she then attempts to shame him into accepting that which she does have. If all she's got is sex, she tells you that intelligence and principles and virtue don't matter. Shout out Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. If all she's got is sex, she's going to tell you that principles and values and intelligence don't matter. If all she's got is a job, she's going to tell you that nurturing and sex and femininity don't matter. Which is what she just said. Now, she thinks she's going to talk her way out of this, but she really isn't. We'll go ahead and back this up a little bit.
I've Tatianas who have nothing going on. People like me and my friends are going to be insulted by that. And there's almost really no coming back from it. So if you want that kind of a girl, the kind of girl who's just kind of happy going through the motions of life, not really super ambitious.
Okay, brief pause here. Yes, I know I'm chopping and screwing it all over the place here. She said there's almost no coming back from that. You know why? Because women love a player. Oh, hell. Oh, hell, am I spilling the beans? Reading to you from the Black Book. Women love a player. They never get tired of a player. That is what gives a man his value, is his ability to have sexual access to multiple women. If you no longer have sexual access to multiple women, a woman sees no value in you. There is no status of being with you. The only thing that makes a man have status is if other women admire you. If a woman walks into a room and nobody admires you except for her, very quickly she's going to stop admiring you. So men retain our value by retaining our ability to have access to multiple women. So she really couldn't stand by what she was saying right there. She wanted to stand by it, but she really couldn't. When she said, well, and if you do something like that, she just said, and if you're talking, if we find out you're talking to 5 other Tatianas, well, there's no coming back from it. We're done. Well, there's almost no coming back from it. There's almost no coming back from it. Yes, in the chat room, ladies, y'all need to be honest with yourselves. Y'all love players. Men wouldn't be players if y'all didn't love it. We would all be sitting at home like, damn me, Ward Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver. If that was the type of dude that women gravitate to, we'd all be doing it. Women don't like that. Women tell you they like it, and in reality, that's not what they really want. A woman wants a man who can pull females, because that's the only way that it's an accomplishment to be with you. There's no value in getting a man who can't pull nobody. Where's the value in you? Women value a man who can pull broads, because that is what validates to her that she's the top broad. She's the top chick. Yeah, I got a man. He could choose anyone he wants. He chose me because I'm just that damn good. He chose me. So that is how men validate women. And a woman wants a man who confirms her validation. But he can't confirm it if he doesn't have access to other women, if he doesn't possess the ability to pull other women. So an honest woman is never going to say that she wants a man that other women don't desire. And if you prove that other women desire you, she's not going to say that's a bad thing. And even Tomi wasn't going to go that far. Yeah, she's angry and pissed off, but she ain't that mad that she's going to start saying stupid things. She's saying things that serve her personal best interest, but she ain't gonna go so far as to say, yeah, and I want a guy who can't pull chicks. No, she wants a fellow who can pull females so she can validate to herself that she's the top female. Because how can you prove that you're the top female if your man doesn't have a variety of choices? You can't prove it. Now, that mentality doesn't work in the opposite. A man doesn't want a female out there showing her sexual options because that's a liability for a female. For a woman, it's an asset when a man can do it.
Like me and my friends are going to be insulted by that, and there's almost really no coming back from it. So if you want that kind of a girl, the kind of girl who's just kind of happy going through the motions of life, not really super ambitious, hasn't really found herself yet, doesn't really have a whole lot going on other than she's pretty, please just go after them. And please do not mix us in. We don't want to be there. I promise you. So value. There's a lot of women out there that I know that are my good friends who have amazing jobs, who work really hard, but who can't seem to find a decent guy, even if they go up in age 5 to 10 to 15 years.
Okay, I'm going to come back to what she just said there in a moment about her amazing friends and they can't keep a man. Back to this part right one more time.
Really found herself yet, doesn't really have a whole lot going on other than she's pretty. Please just go after them. And please do not mix us in. We don't.
She doesn't have these Tatianas are women who don't have a lot going for themselves other than that they're pretty. But that is what men value. Ladies, get this through your thick heads. You ain't gonna change male nature. Single motherhood and all this old bull crap, you haven't changed male nature. You tried to corrupt the boys from the womb to the tomb, and it hasn't changed male nature. You don't get to dictate to us what we value. She just told you that men shouldn't value being pretty. No, some of you are going to say, no, that's not what she said. What she said is if you ain't got nothing else but. Sometimes a fella just needs a chick who is pretty. And what I'm saying is that this is, once again, men are the simplest creatures in the world to understand. And she's failing. Because she's trying to tell us what we should value. Oh, you don't need a chick who's pretty. You need a chick who's a worker and a go-getter and works at the job and gets job titles that do you no good. You need to value that. This other chick who just smiles and she's friendly and pretty, but she doesn't have my work credentials, well, that ain't value. She's trying to tell you you should value what I bring, not what you actually want.
I want to be there. I promise you. Not going on other than she's pretty. Please just go after them. And please do not mix up. Not really super ambitious, hasn't really found herself yet, doesn't really have a whole lot going on other than she's pretty. Please just go after them. And please, who's just kind of happy going through the motions of life.
Okay, I'm backing up because I want to replay that whole part there. Let me back up a little bit. I just want to debunk the whole thing she said.
Tatianas who have nothing going on. People like me and my friends are going to be insulted by that. And there's almost really no coming back from it. So if you want that kind of a girl, the kind of girl who's just kind of happy going through the motions of life, not really super ambitious, hasn't really found herself yet, doesn't really have a whole lot going on other than she's pretty, please.
Happy just going through the motions of life. In other words, she's just happy being herself. Is that what you're trying to say? So when you were 22 and just happy being yourself, that wasn't a bad thing. But if another woman's able to pull men and all she has to do is be happy with herself, that's a bad thing. She's not, quote, really ambitious. So in other words, she's the chick that the man can call at 11 o'clock at night because instead of being married to her job, she actually has free time to spend with him. And he's like, baby, I'll take care of the rest. Tommy, what man is going to wife you up when he's going to spend most of his time away from you? Why would he be your protector and provider simply so he can spend no time with you? You're majoring in the minors and telling yourself they're the majors. Then saying that she hasn't really found herself. Ladies, now that's the most insulting one of all. Ain't none of y'all found yourselves. Women are the most ambivalent, transient, damn near schizophrenic consumers in the world. Women shift their take. There's a reason why the corporate world wants to cater to women and get women as their customers, because go into any store in America, any store on the planet, go take a look at the section for men and then go take a look at the section for women. In most of your high-end stores, the section, I'm talking about high-end stores, if they have a men's section, that section is going to be a part of another section. For the women, they got their whole floor. They have their own floor at these stores. Men get a corner of the department store. Women got their own floor. That's just how transient and frenetic women's choices are. Women don't ever find themselves, and that's what defines women. They are constantly in flux. So this idea she hadn't really found herself, you need to look at women the way we men look at you. Y'all don't never find yourselves. You all are always unsure, uncertain, always changing. I like pink, I like purple, I like brown, I like green. You got to have 10 different colors of everything. Some women got to have 50. Different shades, different colors, different sizes, different stones. A man can wear the same damn thing every day and be perfectly comfortable with himself. If a woman had to wear the same thing every day, it would crack her psyche. Because I gotta switch it up. I gotta change it up. So to pose that as a negative, that's a woman who doesn't listen to men. If you ask us, yeah, y'all are all like that. So far you've just described women in general. You're all like that.
Just go after them. And please do not mix us in. We don't want to be there. I promise you. So value. There's a lot of women out there that I know that are my good friends who have amazing jobs, who work really hard, but who can't seem to find a decent guy, even if they go up in age 5 to 10 to 15 years, because those guys all want to be with 21-year-olds who have nothing going on.
There you go. So once again, now notice 21-year-olds who have nothing going on. She's only 28. She wasn't making these complaints 5 years ago or 3 years ago. Now she's complaining about age. I got a question for you, Tommy, and to any women agreeing with her. What happened to the sisterhood? No, your red pillars ain't gonna go into this. They don't know anything about it. They don't think this way. Reading to you from the Black Book. What happened to the sisterhood? Why is she sitting here so viciously downing other women for their choices? If another woman don't want to work like that, what is Tommy doing stepping all over her? Why is Tommy hating? If another female just wants to be 21 and hang out, why are you hating, Tommy? What happened to supporting her? This is her following her karma and her life choices. Why are you downing her? This isn't men doing it. This is Tommy doing the moonwalk all over these young women's asses. She's giving 21-year-old females the Boston Stomp. You're 21 and not doing anything. Yeah, that's why these men of means who only call you and then they friend zone you, Tommy. This is why the men of means are going out with her and friend zoning you. You've articulated why you're failing. They're going out with the 21-year-olds and friend zoning you. And she just sat here and she has been putting the boots to these young women. The young women are perfectly happy with their situation, and Tommy is saying, nope, that's wrong, this is bad, no, this is wrong. Where the hell is the sisterhood today, ladies? What happened to the sisterhood? Aren't women, what happened to believe all women? And where's the sisterhood at? What happened to supporting your sister girls? What happened to supporting young women? Now, what I'm about to say next is to you young females. Those of you who are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, when you all were asking before, see, some of y'all were hating. The red pillars, they ain't got it. I'm just reminding you constantly, by the way, did they point this out to you when we said before that the age of demarcation, that line where they crossed the line from being young women, y'all were like, being in my 20s is still young. No, it ain't. And she just proved it. She's 28, hating on females who are 21. Do you see just how slight, just how thin that line is between young females and females who are over the hill and have aged out? Do you see how thin that line is and how quickly you cross it? Before, when we said 25, a lot of you was thinking, oh, you're exaggerating. You're just blowing it up. You're exaggerating. No, once they hit 25, they start hating on the 21-year-olds. They start hating on the 22-year-olds. Once they hit 25, definitely by the time they hit 27, 28, they're hating on the 21-year-olds and 20-year-olds. They don't make it out of their 20s before they start trying to undermine the younger women. I said that. And if this is what Tommy thinks of 21-year-old women on the internet, what is she doing to the 21-year-olds at her job, who she sees as competition for those men of means at Fox or The Blaze or whatever? If this is what she really feels about them and this is what she's articulating on the internet, can you imagine what she's doing to 21-year-olds in the real world? No, 28 is not young to be bitter. 28 is old in female years. Y'all are old by the time you get there. You've aged out. You've aged out. And by the time you all are 28, you're already working on undermining the 21-year-olds. To the 21-year-old females listening to this live or recorded, do you see how quickly these women turn on you? Do you see how quickly they turn on you? You're 21 years old, and all she got to do is be 25, 26, or 27, and she's already got the knives out for you. She's already setting up traps for you. She's already openly undermining you and trying to pressure men and shame men into seeing you as a negative simply because of your age. Now, when she was your age, it all's fair in love and war. But now that she's no longer your age, I want the early 20-somethings, you 18, 19-year-olds, between the ages of 18 and 26, I want you all to understand she named that age range for a reason. Or at least she started her age range at 26 to 34 for a reason. Because you see how she brought it full circle. She's back to undermine you. She's back to cut the knees out from under you. And do you see, you didn't have to be old. 21, 22, They're saying that no, you very quickly age out. And even those in your 20, you talking about I'm a 20 something. No, you're either a early 20 something or a late 20 something. You're either somebody in your early 20s or your late 20s. And the chicks in their late 20s, they ain't got no love for you young hoes. And I said it the way I meant it. These chicks starting in their late 20s, they ain't got no love for y'all. They're already scheming and plotting to undermine you. So when you start if you start listening to them and taking them as the voice of authority, and you start harboring resentments toward men based upon their advice, you better understand they don't mean well by either of us. Tomi doesn't have men's best interest at heart, and she doesn't have 21-year-olds and 22-year-olds and 23-year-old women's best interest at heart either. Just her own.
Very unfortunate. I don't think it's going to be fulfilling. But I would say to the men out there, try to maybe find a woman that you can talk to, communicate with, might actually have her shit together, might actually be ambitious and have something going on or want to have something going on. I don't care what she does. She doesn't have to be on TV. She doesn't have to be a PhD. She doesn't have to be a television producer. She doesn't have to own her own company. But be ambitious and have something going on. Those women out there are going to be a lot more fulfilling to you. You're actually going to enjoy your time. And if you actually might want a sustainable and healthy and stable relationship, that's probably the kind of girl you're going to need to find.
But how can you have a fulfilling and sustainable relationship with a go-getter who works hard and is climbing the corporate ladder and never available? Tomi is describing, and like so many women today, she's describing what is beneficial to her with no regard whatsoever what's benefit to men. And you know why? Once again, from the Black Book, y'all need to take notes. Everyone listening to this live and recorded, take the damn notes. In her mind, in the mind of so many women today, those of you over the age of 26 who are trying to carve out and chart out your corporate career to, quote, add value to yourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what the real problem is? Women in her situation and women who think like her, they truly do believe that if a man has 1 hour of her time during a day, well, damn it, you are pretty damn privileged. My job and my managers and my clients, why, I can only really give them about 30 minutes of my time. So as my man, if I'm able to give you 1 hour of my time, well, hell, that's pretty damn generous. Because, folks, this is Sigmund Freud. She's expressing what she really meant. I'm valuable. Which means that my time is exceptionally valuable. So what if Tatiana can give you 7 hours a day and I can only give you 1 or only give you 30 minutes? My 30 minutes of time is worth so much more than Tatiana's because I have so much more value. Yeah, heifer, at your job and at the daycare and at the PTA, that's value to you. That ain't value to me. Tell me, for all the other people who supposedly broke this video down, did any of them get into the points that I'm giving you here? By the way, and if you want to know why it is that people are subscribed to our Patreon, I can go more in depth over there, but I'm just giving you an idea. By the way, these are the dimensions that you get from us you won't see anywhere else. She's saying this because she told you already, I'm valuable. Well, how valuable does she think she is? She thinks she's so valuable that any residue of time that she's left behind, any table scraps that she can flick off of her plate, that a man should be grateful because I don't want to even say Tomi Lahren because most women today think like this. Tomi is a great metaphor for most women. Most women today think like her. That you should be grateful that she makes any time for you. That any amount of time is available. You should be grateful. Yeah, Tatiana can give you more time, but the 30 minutes you get from me or the hour you get from me, oh, that's quality. You're not smart enough to understand what you get from me. That's quality time. And she truly believes this, which is why she's going off on this entitled screed. How many of you caught that?
Not the Tatianas who just want to look cute and post. And if you actually might want a sustainable and healthy and stable relationship, that's probably the kind of girl you're going to need to find. Not the Tatianas who just want to look cute and post Instagram stories. Now, I love a good Instagram story. Y'all know I do. I love a good boomerang. I love a good whatever. But if that's all you do, men, if that's all she does, probably Houston, we have a problem. I'm just going to let you in on a little tip. The next thing on my list is this: consistency. It really does not help me or my friends or any woman in general if you are really cool and you're really interested when you first start talking to them, and then give it 3, 4, 5 days, and all of a sudden you're not consistent anymore. You don't make plans. You don't really care. You kind of fade in and out. You're talking to 5 other Tatianas. Consistency is important. Now, if you want to be inconsistent and you want to ghost and you want to fall off the radar, that's fine, but I'm going to give you a pro tip. People like me and people like my friends, we aren't going to really give a shit after that. We don't really care. The F's have been given and we're kind of done.
All right, so what she's saying is that if you're inconsistent, now what she really means is if you're not focused on me. Let me tell you something, Heffa, men have a life, okay? And the more valuable a man is, the busier he is, he's got a life. So when he hits you up and tells you it's go time, he wants you to assume your position as a woman and it's go time. And you're telling him that you're going to tell him when you can be available. Well, if you can't get the job done, don't get mad when another woman will. If you're not available to get the job done, don't get mad when another woman will. It's reality. So she's complaining that if you want to ghost and be inconsistent. No, he called you, asked if you could do the damn thing. You said no. What she's really expressing is that she wants a man of means, but she doesn't qualify for him. So she's expressing all of her frustrations for what a man of means, a high value man, what he does when you can't please him. She wants a high value man who doesn't have options. And this is that, behavior among women where they want a chimera. They want this animal that doesn't naturally exist in nature. They want this contradiction. I want a thug I want an intelligent thug. Well, that's a contradiction in terms. I want a thug with sensitivity. What? I want a moist dude with an edge. I want a moist dude with alpha. I want a fella who watches soap operas but has alpha tendencies. That's a contradiction. That's a contradiction that doesn't actually exist. So trying to get a man of means who doesn't have options. I want you to be a man of means, but I don't want you to have no options. So if I don't cooperate and if I don't get with the program, I want you to just be stranded and stuck still until I bring the program to you. And that is an oxymoron. That's a contradiction in terms. That creature doesn't actually exist.
I'll tell you this from personal experience. Once I'm turned off, I am turned off. And I don't care anymore. Because at one point, I probably did care. At one point, my friends, they probably did care. They probably did like you because you expressed interest and maybe you were cool and maybe you were kind of fun to hang out with. But if you're not consistent and you fall off the radar, I give you maybe 1 to 2 chances to fix that because I'm a very direct communicator. Women, this is important. I will communicate to you. If your communication isn't great, I will let you know that. I will let you know that more effort is needed. But if you don't heed that warning and I have to warn you twice, I'm done at that point because I don't really care anymore. Now I'm done.
Fellas, if you are a high-value male and in today's society it's not hard, you just have to not be a loser and a bum, don't believe none of this bull crap she just said. If you talk to multiple females, she don't care. Remember what I said at the beginning. If a woman wants you, she doesn't worry about other women. She worries about herself. So don't listen to none of this bull crap she's handing out. To the fellas or the young females, those of you in your late teens, early 20s, don't listen to none of this mess she's saying. She doesn't mean a word of it. She's just venting. Don't listen to a word of it. It is A1 premium gourmet cuisine bull crap. Don't listen to any of it. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. Period. Women want a man who has his own life. See, this is one of these contradictions where women try to bully you into being exactly the type of guy that she doesn't want. That's the real problem with this rant. She's coaching you on how to be exactly the type of man that she don't even want. Because I want a guy who's consistent. I don't want a guy who ghosts on me. You know what? Then you become the guy who's always available. When she calls, you always answer the phone. You never ghost on her. And then she says, I need a guy who's not hugged up on me all the time. I need a guy who does his own thing. I need a guy who's out there building for himself. You're too available. You're hugged up under me all the time. Somebody tell me I'm lying. Someone tell me I'm lying about that. If you are available to her all the time, then she says, hey, you hugged up under me all the time. But it's kind of like when men say to females, they want you to be easy for sex. Dudes pressure women to be easy for sex. Then when you end up with Meg Thee Stallion or Cardi B, you're like, man, I don't want to marry no hoe. I ain't trying to marry no damn slut. Okay, so women get mad. Well, you told me to be one. Yeah, but I don't value that. So you're going to punish me for, you made me into this and now you're going to punish me for it? Hell yes, we are. Yes, ladies, that's exactly what we're going to do. We are going to pressure you to be sluts, and if you give in, we are then going to punish you for doing it. I did exactly what you said. Yep, get ready to take these lashes across your ass. But you said, yeah, we sure did. All right. Get ready for this spanking. Yes, that's exactly what happens. That's exactly what occurs.
Now I don't care. And I know my friends who are watching this are thinking and saying the same thing because we have these conversations on an almost daily basis. Once you turn us off, we don't care anymore. So let that be a warning to you. You're probably not going to circle back. They always come back. They always come back. But when you're ready to come back, I probably don't care anymore. So if you want to switch up, stay there. Pro tip.
Ladies, if a man has ghosted you, if he does, quote, come back, he's just coming back for them draws. And this is another problem. Tommy isn't making the distinction between sex and a real relationship. But then again, most women don't. In most women's minds, if a man's willing to sleep with you, that constitutes a real relationship. It's only once he shows you, I got the advantage and I'm juggling, then all of a sudden you don't like it anymore and it's not a real relationship. But no, ladies, if a man has ghosted you, he lets you know your value. If he does, quote, circle back, he's just circling back to see who's available to service his needs that evening. He's not circling back because you the one. He's circling back because you the one tonight.
My last thing on my list is also very important. Don't be, excuse my language, don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch.
Now, literally everything she just said in the last 11 minutes was tutelage and coaching you to be that little female dog. She has literally been coaching you for 11 minutes to punk you out, to turn you into the type of sorry, sloppy, sad sack that she don't even want. And then she's telling you, oh yeah, don't be that. And listen to what she says.
My last thing on my list is also very important. Don't be, excuse my language, don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. If you have then failed and you lost a woman of value like myself or my friends, and then we don't really care anymore, don't be a bitch. Don't be butthurt. You did it to yourself.
Now, this entire video, by the way, is her being epically butthurt about what men have done to her and how men treat her. This whole video has been 11 minutes of screaming about how butthurt she is, then saying, fellas, if we do XYZ, don't be butthurt. Okay. Oh, okay, all right. Irony? Ironic much? But the other thing here is, now you realize what she's saying, oh, don't be, I try to keep my language somewhat sanitized. Don't be the B word as a man. By the way, now, if a man said that today, they would say that, oh, you're shaming women. You're using a slur against women. Isn't that insulting to women, by the way? Isn't saying that insulting to women? Because what's wrong with being a B, by the way? What's wrong with being the B word? What's objectionable about that you would tell somebody, don't be that? That you would tell a man, don't be that? Because the B word is referring to females. So she's saying that there's something about females that is objectionable. So I just thought I would point it out, by the way, there. I think I just pointed out that, by the way, she's saying it. Don't be like us. She's using a female slur word in a negative connotation. Don't be like us. Okay.
Okay? And it's no longer my problem. Now it's become a personal problem of yours. So don't be a bitch. And by the way, if I'm no longer interested because your effort is shitty, that's not me being a bitch. That's not me being difficult. That's me having a standard in which I expect from people. I do have high standards and high expectations. My friends have high standards and high expectations. Do you want to know why? We've worked for those. Okay? We work hard. We're successful. We take care of ourselves. We try to look cute. We have a desire to be something more each day. Okay? That's why we have the ability to be somewhat what you call difficult. It's not difficult. We just have a baseline standard. And
well, you thought that was just limited to black women. If you want to know why it is the red pill manosphere, whiny kids are, you want to know why folk from the dominant society have started on that right now, is because something that they thought was isolated and was just a black problem, they're like, oh, hell no, we'll recognize this. And in reality, it started over there, it immigrated over here, it spoiled the milk, and now the monster is out of control now. But yeah, she just sat here and told you the attitude. Now, she didn't use the word attitude. She didn't use that word. Now, as black people, we would have recognized if she said, and you say we got an attitude. Black men would have recognized that immediately. Since she was smart enough not to use that word, she didn't use the word attitude. She said difficult. But notice in the context in which she's using it, that being difficult is a good thing. And the problem is you need to man up. And what does man up mean? Does man up mean you do what's in your best interest? Oh, hell no. Man up means that you need to get better at tolerating and acclimating to her difficulty. That's what she's saying. You need, fellas, how many of you have run into a whole bunch of women who have tried to tell you the problem isn't that I'm difficult? Yeah, I'm sure I am difficult, and you need to get used to it. You should be grateful. to have a difficult woman like me. She's not a future Karen. She's a Karen now. She's not a future Karen. She's not a Karen in training. She's a Karen right this moment. And she's telling you that you should. She's a Karen who wants Becky benefits. She's a Karen who wants Becky benefits. She wants Becky benefits. And it don't work that way. Once you transition out of Becky status, you're done. You're done.
If you can't meet that standard, that's okay. A lot of day. Okay? That's why we have the ability to be somewhat what you call difficult. It's not difficult. We just have a baseline standard. And if you can't meet that standard, that's okay. A lot of men cannot. But if you are one of those men out there, and I
how many of these supposed relationship gurus, former comedians like Steve Harvey want to reinvent themselves, relationship gurus? How many of them have an audience full of women, single as they can be? Many are single moms, but many of them ain't. All of them are so-called career women. All of them, quote, make their own money, which really means they can only pay their own rent. And telling you that the problem is that men just can't handle a strong, independent woman. Did you all ever think that there'd be Beckys and Karens talking like that? Oh, well, here we are. Here we are. Telling you that, yeah, my difficulty is just a price you have to pay for being with me. Here's the problem. When you are 21 years old, men will tolerate you being difficult because you're at the height of your abilities. When you're 22, 23, you still floating, but you on your way out. We'll tolerate that from a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, 23-year-old. You get in your late 20s telling us we gotta tolerate that? No. You've lost sight of the fact, you're out of touch with the fact that you ain't 21 anymore. Those were privileges that you had at 21. You could be sassy and talk back to us at 21, 22. And then again, it has to be with the right kind of man. You can't just do it with just any old body. But the average 20-year-old, she can be difficult. The average 20-year-old can be difficult. This is a woman who is out of touch with the fact she no longer has the privilege to be difficult. Ladies, don't be out of touch with where you really stand in the pecking order. Don't go into the sexual marketplace trying to walk into Saks Fifth Avenue when you really belong in Michael Kors or maybe Target. You need to be cognizant and aware of where you actually are and where your value actually stands, because a lot of you are still trying to talk like you got the pull of a 21, 22-year-old, and you're so used to men being desperate. And what she said, they always come back, they always come back, they always come back. She made this video because these dudes didn't come back. They were offering her something of permanence before. They no longer are. She's making this video because they didn't come back. And she's frustrated because in her mind, she still has the value she did at 21, 22, even though she's expressing animosity towards 21 and 22-year-olds because she doesn't have that value. So ladies, don't be so busy sucking your own air that you fall completely out of touch with where in the pecking order you actually stand.
I have them all over my DMs. Sometimes I check them, and you guys are like, what would it take to be with someone like you? What would it take to be with your friends? What a standard. That's okay. A lot of men cannot. But if you are one of those men out there, and I have them all over my DMs, sometimes I check them, and you guys are like, what would it take to be with someone like you? What would it take to be with your friends? What are girls like you? What are they looking for? I laid them out for you very simply there.
Ladies and gentlemen from around the world, the advent and rise in popularity of the private message of the direct message has been the single greatest catalyst for bloating and hideously bloating and inflating the self-opinion of women around the world in the last decade more than any damn thing else. Women are narcissistic and self-absorbed by nature, and DMs create a private cult. You heard that phrase coined here. Private messages on social media allow females to curate and cultivate a private cult. So they open up their DMs, and all of the cultists, all of their worshipers, you're getting it from the Black Book, all of their worshipers are in their DMs. Y'all better be taking notes. They open up their DMs and they see this long list of worshipers. In some cases, it might be dozens or even hundreds of men long. All of them appealing to her base instincts and her conceit. All of them asking, what do you want? What do you want? I'll lay it at your feet. Here's the problem. It's a lie. None of them fellas are able to make good on giving you what you want. They just want to know what the price is so they can see if they can con you into getting it. But they know that women value ego. And a full DM box is enough to blind women today from the reality of where they really stand. You've got hundreds of DMs. None of them are from a man of any value. Those are all dudes begging for sex. And that's your frustration. You can talk about your DMs, but your DMs are not really anything valuable. Your DM is a wrecking yard. Your DM is a junkyard. That's the problem. Your DMs and your PMs, your private messages and direct messages and mixed messages, they're a junkyard. You just got piles and piles of crap you don't even want. And them bragging about it. It's not a shipyard. It's a junkyard. It's not even a salvage yard. There's nothing to salvage. It's just a bunch of garbage. It's a junkyard. You can't do nothing with it. She's upset because she's got all of these choices and no options. Because if those were real options in her DMs, she would have just clicked respond or reply to the next guy in her inbox. She wouldn't be on Facebook video complaining. Because remember at the outset, remember what she said? I talked to my mom, and men are trash everywhere. Doesn't matter where you go. Guess what? That includes her DMs. Her DMs is trash there too. And she's expressing her displeasure with it. You have a bunch of people trying to get your attention, but nobody who you want to get their attention. Nobody that you can brag to your girlfriends at your job who are still struggling to find a man. There's nobody in your inbox that you feel like would elevate your status to make you look good in front of them.
In order to have a shot with a girl, all over my DMs, sometimes I check them, and you guys are like, what would it take to be with someone like you? What would it take to be with your friends? What are girls like you? What are they looking for? I laid them out for you very simply there. In order to have a shot with a girl like me or girls like my friends, girls that are worth a damn, you don't really have to be Brad Pitt. You don't have to be famous. You don't even really have to make a lot of money or have a really fantastic job. You just have to be determined. You have to be in some way successful in that you want to attain some certain kind of success for yourself, you're driven, you have goals, you can handle a woman with standards, that's not going to turn you off, and you're going to put in the effort to be with somebody like myself or my friends. We deserve that.
Now, did you all hear what she just said? I want to play that last part again. One more time. I want you to hear what she just said. Listen carefully.
Like me or girls like my friends, girls that are there. In order to have a shot with a girl like me or girls like my friends, girls that are worth a damn, you don't really have to be Brad Pitt. You don't have to be famous. You don't even really have to make a lot of money or...
Okay, you don't have to be Brad Pitt. You don't have to be famous. You don't even have to make a lot of money. Now, we all know that's a damn lie. If you think that Tomi Lahren is going to be dating the UPS driver, you's a damn fool. If you think that Tomi Lahren is going to be dating the security guard at Walmart, you're a moron. You don't have to make a lot of money. In her world, a lot of money would be 100 million. She's like, no, you don't have to make 100 million. You just need to make 10. If you make 10 million, you're cool. You make 10 million, you're cool. So she's already lying. Or at least she's misrepresenting it, because when she says you don't need to make a lot of money, she doesn't mean what you think she means. Because your definition of a lot of money and her definition of a lot of money is different.
Have a really fantastic job. You just, like me or girls like my friends, girls that are worth a damn, you don't really have to be Brad Pitt. You don't have to be famous. You don't even really have to make a lot of money or have a really fantastic job. You just have to be determined. You have to be in some way successful in that you want to attain some certain kind of success for yourself. You're driven. You have goals. You can handle a woman with standards. That's not going to turn you off. And you're going to put in the effort to be.
You need to be successful. You need to have goals. You need to be making something for yourself. You need to be able to handle a woman who has standards and it doesn't turn you off. She just came up with a laundry list of things that you can do for her, for her, for her, for her. Those are all things you would do for her. When you listen to that, those are all things you'll be giving her. She didn't say a word about what she's going to do for you. Did you catch that? She didn't say a word about what she's going to do for you. This is all about what you gonna do for her.
You have goals. You can handle a woman with standards. That's means some certain kind of success for yourself. You're driven. You have goals. You can handle a woman with standards. That's not going to turn you off. And you're going to put in the effort to be with somebody like myself or my friends. We deserve that.
We deserve that.
Like myself or my friends. We deserve that.
Wow, we deserve that. Did you see that laundry list of things she just came up with? Every single one of those is about what you're going to do for her, and not a syllable about what she's going to do for you. Not one word about what she's going to do. What she's going to do is collect all the things you're going to give. She's going to do that. But not a word about what she's going to do for you. Just here's the list of things you gonna do for me. And remember what I said before, she's saying I'm so valuable. She just said it, that you need to, if you appreciate a woman who's got standards.
A woman with standards, that's not gonna turn you off. A woman means some certain kind of success for yourself. You're driven. You have goals. You can handle a woman with standards. That's not going to turn you off.
So she's telling you that what she brings to the relationship is standards. What she brings to the relationship are her standards. She just said it. You bring success. I mean, she literally said it. You bring the success. You bring the drive. You bring the motivation. You bring the money. You bring the extra effort. Not just success, but extra effort. You bring all of that. And what am I going to bring? Oh, I'm going to bring my standards. I bring standards to the relationship, to a man who's already produced for himself, and she's here to bring standards to you. Because apparently you don't have standards for yourself. So she's going to bring standards to you. Because you don't get it. You need her to have standards. Or her standards, that is her contribution. How many females have you guys met in your personal lives that she wanted you to lay down tangibles for her, and what she wanted to offer in the relationship was, oh yeah, my demands. That is my contribution. You should be glad to have a female with these demands. It sounds like comedy right up until you realize, oh, this heifer's serious.
And you're going to put in the effort to be with somebody like myself or my friends. We deserve that. And we will not compromise our standards. I tell you this, it will be a cold day in hell when I chase a man. And I know that's the same thing for my friends as well. And if my friends are listening and they're thinking about chasing a man, please, for the love of God, do not. Because there is not one single man on planet Earth, okay, that is worth making any woman feel like she is not good enough.
Okay, now did you all just hear the damn contradiction there? Did you hear that? She said it'll be a cold day in hell before I chase a man. And she says you shouldn't chase a man because, quote, there's no man worth being rejected for. Make sure I roll this back.
If my friends are listening and they're thinking about chasing a man, please, for the love of God, do not. Because there is not one single man on planet Earth, okay, that is worth making any woman feel like she is not good enough.
Okay, first of all, there's too many layers to this to peel back, but I'll try. Females make males feel inadequate from the age of 8? They spend most of their lives trying to make males feel inadequate, deliberately so, ruthlessly so. Once they get into high school, they are heartless and ruthless about a guy. If you don't meet the standard, she deliberately tries to be as cruel as she can possibly be. This is a practice. They sit up and brag about it. Oh, he thought he was going to talk to me. That lame. I sent him on his way. They make a game of it. But as soon as they have to take a taste of their own medicine, she gets on the internet and cracks. She also says there's no man worth getting, basically she's saying there's no man worth getting rejected for. There's no man who is worth making you feel like you're not good enough.
Single man on planet Earth, okay, that is worth making any woman feel like she is not good enough.
Okay, and I wonder to myself, have I heard something recently of somebody who makes men feel like they're not good enough?
Difficult. It's not difficult. We just have a baseline standard. And if you can't meet that standard, that's okay. A lot of men cannot. But if you are one of those men out there, have a baseline standard. And if you can't meet that standard, that's okay. A lot of men cannot. But the ability to be somewhat what you call difficult. It's not difficult. We just have a baseline standard. And if you can't meet that standard, that's okay. A lot of men cannot. But
well, we just have a baseline standard. And if you can't meet that standard, well, that's okay. A lot of men can't. Wow, I wonder if that would make a guy feel like after chasing you in your DMs that he's not good enough. So it's okay for her to just a minute earlier to tell you that, oh yeah, by the way, you probably won't be good enough and you can't meet the standard. So if a man's chasing her, it's okay for her to tell you you don't meet the standard. But no man, she never gonna chase nah nigga and be told that she doesn't meet the standard or be made to feel that she's not good enough. I thought that was rather interesting. So she's gonna be quick to tell you, you ain't good enough. Really? Really? Oh yeah, and by the way, remember, she didn't stop there, remember?
If you are one of those men out there, and I have them all over my DMs, sometimes I check them, and you guys are like, what would it take to be with someone like you? What would it take to be with your friends? What are girls like you, what are they looking for? I laid them out for you very simply there. In order to have a shot with a girl like me, or girls like my friends, girls that are worth a damn, you don't really have to be Brad Pitt. You don't have to be famous. You don't even really have to make a lot of money or have a really fantastic job. You just have to be determined. You have to be in some way successful in that you want to attain some certain kind of success for yourself. You're driven. You have goals. You can handle a woman with standards. That's not going to turn you off. And you're going to put in the effort.
You have to be driven, successful. You have to be able to deal with a woman who has standards. You have to put in the extra work. That sounds like a man chasing you. So you're saying that a guy can sit here and work hard, be successful, be driven, be motivated, put in the extra work, tolerate your bullcrap, and could still end up with nothing. He could still end up ultimately being rejected. But that's acceptable. That's acceptable. Women today don't even hear themselves. They're so busy rattling off the list of things they want, they don't even hear themselves.
To be with somebody like myself or my friends, we deserve that. And we will not compromise our standards. I tell you this, it will be a cold day in hell when I chase a man. And I know that's the same thing for my friends as well. And if my friends are listening and they're thinking about chasing a man, please, for the love of God, do not. Because there is not one single man on planet Earth, okay, that is worth making any woman feel like she is not good enough.
She made this entire video because men have been making her feel like she's not good enough. So she's put a lot of that. She made this video because she doesn't feel good enough. This video's existence is a testament to that. So as far as her not chasing men, clearly she does, because this video's very existence is about her frustration with not getting from the men she desires what she wants. So this video's very existence is a testament to chasing men.
I don't care how hot a girl is, how smart, how successful, how rich. We have all dealt with men who treat us like we are not good enough. No, the problem is we are too enough, and you can't handle it. So, those are my checklists. Again, I will go through.
You're all familiar with the phrase from Tywin Lannister that any king who has to say that he's king is no king. Any monarch who has to say that he's king is no king. If a woman has to tell you, I'm more than good enough, that's your first clue that she is not good enough.
Through them for you one more time in case you are just tuning in. Number 1, are you single? No, really. 2, make plans. We don't want a pen pal. 3, value. Value someone who has value. Consistency. Be consistent. Don't be great and then fade out. And then don't fade out and then think that you're going to fade back in, because it ain't going to work. And last but not least, if all else fails, don't be a bitch.
Well, there's your dream gal right there. There is your dream gal there. I'd actually like to thank Tomi Lahren for making that video. And yes, I know she made a follow-up video. It wasn't what you all think. It really wasn't what you think. A lot of folk are saying, oh, well, the dominant society pulled her chain and white men pulled her chain and she started walking it back. I saw her response video. That wasn't really what she did. What Tomi was doing was smoothing it over. But by the way, she meant everything she said. So that was just for public purposes. People, when a woman is angry with you, this is one of Jason's laws. When a woman is angry with you, she's telling whatever she says to you, that is what she truly in her heart of hearts means. When a woman is angry with you, she's telling you the truth about you. When she's mad at you, that's the real unfiltered. Yeah, that stuff when I'm smiling at you, that ain't really what I mean. When I'm angry, this is what I mean. You men are trash. You don't do enough. You should be happy to have a female who is as accomplished as me. You just like to chase them hoes and Tatianas. You need to put in more work to get me, and more work, and more work, and more work. And you're all bums because you won't do that. She meant what she said. She meant it the way she said it. She wasn't joking. She made the follow-up video to smooth things over, but you can take that follow-up video was as insincere as anything you've ever seen. That wasn't sincere. She said that follow-up video was a political document. And she just did it because it's good politics. And it's also meant because she still wants a man. The only reason she made that follow-up video was so that she can disarm the men that she really wants, because she slipped up and said what she really meant in a moment of frustration. But the men that she really wants, she's trying to smooth this over for them. Not for us, not for you, not for anybody listening. That she only made that follow-up video so the men of means that she wants, this is to smooth it over with them. It's just to smooth it over with them. Her video is still up on Facebook, as a matter of fact. Still up on Facebook now. So she did it as a Facebook Live, but the video's still there. No, the video is still there. I saw it. That's where I got this from today. Not I saw it today. I got this from there today. So if you don't know how to use Google, get a friend to mentor you. Okay, you can call Tomi dumb all you want to. Tomi speaks for most females out there today, quite frankly. Even though she didn't want to say black women, the truth of the matter is she speaks for most females in America. In Western society, certainly, but women as a group, she speaks for them. Women truly do believe that they are entitled to all types of benefits from a man, because here's what you got to understand. Men are a status symbol. We are a status symbol. And what happens is that we get confused about our status symbol status. We get confused about that. So they're trying to pressure you into being something that they don't even really want. But at the end of the day, we are irreplaceable. We're irreplaceable. Men are a status symbol. Like an expensive handbag. Oh, no. No, men are a status symbol like having the ability to fly. Imagine if you had the ability to fly. That's the type of status symbol that a man, a high value man, is to a woman. It's like giving the ability to fly. It's not like a handbag. It ain't like a pair of Prada shoes. Oh no, we're way beyond that. Welcome to the black book. The red pill don't know this. They can't tell you what our value is. I can tell you what the numerical value is. This is a level of the game and the business nobody else gives you. Understand that as men, we transcend handbags and shoes and clothes and cars. We are beyond that. You have to understand what makes us men is something that cannot be replicated. It cannot be duplicated. A true alpha male, a true male of resource, a true male of intellect, principle, and accomplishment, you can't replicate that. Because you are a completely unique creature. Pick up what I'm putting down. Put on your isotoners and pick up what I'm putting down. When you are a resourceful, valuable man of means, you are a different type of creature, and I mean that literally. Literally. You are a unique creature. When you're a man who's got broad shoulders and you speak with a baritone and you bring accomplishments that other men aren't able to achieve, you're a unique creature. As men, we understand this with animals. What is the ultimate animal pet for a man? The big cats, not a dog. If a man had the ultimate animal pet, it wouldn't be one of these domesticated wolves that you call a dog. It would be one of the big cats. If all of us had our druthers, we would all have a pet lion or a pet tiger. No, we're way beyond tortoises and dogs. No. We want something for real. We want something on a different level. So a dog owner, a woman can have a poodle. What we want as men, we're way beyond that. We want a completely separate animal. And yes, if they could ever clone dinosaurs or saber-toothed tigers, we'd want one of them. The only reason we ain't got one is because we can't get one. But if we could, we'd have it. When you find out what it is that we aspire to, you also have to understand that what makes us dangerous as men is what makes us attractive to women. Oh, I said it. What makes us, it is that air of unpredictability, and yes, I will say it, danger. As men, it is that atmosphere and air of danger that women like about us. Most of the females listening, you likes to get choked because you like that air of danger, and you don't want to be choked by a woman. You want to be choked by a man. Oh, am I getting way off into the damn woods? Am I just breaking it all down? Yes, I am breaking it all down. You desire to be choked by the firm hands of a man because that element of danger that his hands introduce cannot be replicated or duplicated because it requires a lack of control. This is a creature who is able to make you surrender your control. I'm not telling on myself, jackass. I'm telling on the females. I'm bringing you what they ain't telling you. I don't have to choke nobody. The females choke themselves for me, nigga. But you wouldn't understand that. I just sit back and watch. If you like to be choked, get over and do it. Women like an air of danger, and they need it to be real. It needs to be sincere. Now, no, she don't want to get killed. That ain't what she came for. But she does want an element. She wants to know that real element of danger, and you're the only one who can do that. You're the only one who can do that. So as men, you got to understand that. Don't worry, some of the freaks in the chat room, the ladies are letting it come out. That's not freaky, that's female. That's not being freaky, that's just being female. As a group, this is what women like. Because they want a man who takes control. But did you hear the key word? Control. By definition, if she sets the boundaries, it is not control. By its very definition, you can't be the man and be in control if the woman sets the boundaries. So she needs you to set the boundaries. Because by definition, the experience is phony and false and fake if she's setting them. You are a different creature. As a man, you introduce that. Furthermore, if you're a man in shape and so on and so forth, you got that V taper to your back or whatever, that communicates to a woman. All kinds of physical things can happen to other men or to her. You can hurt other men. You can control her. That's the status symbol. Fellas, you are a woman's version of a tiger on a leash. Damn, I should be charging y'all for this. Your mothers and your fathers, and damn sure the pickup artists and online dudes, they don't know none of this. I should be charging for it, but the game is being given for free today because I'm in the mood. Men from around the world, you are a woman's version of a tiger on a leash. Just like you can see the allure of having a tiger on a leash because it's so much better or so much more exotic than having a dog on one, women see you the same way. Remember, men, like they said in the second season of True Detective, the key difference between men and women is that one of them can strangle the other one to death with their bare hands. So when a woman is able to get a high value man is like a dragon. He can, the things that Tomi is complaining about, that's what she loves. A high value man can breathe fire. A high value man goes where he pleases. A high value man can fly. A high value man is unpredictable. You don't control him, he controls you. That's what a high value man is. Oh, we're well beyond an inanimate object like a handbag or a pair of shoes. We're well beyond that. You're a different type of creature. You're able to fly. You're able to breathe fire. You're able to pierce walls. You're able to storm water out of lakes. As a man, you can do things that a woman simply cannot dream of. You want to see women why women are impressed in the gym is simply because she can pick up a barbell, but she can't do anything on the level you can. Professional boxers, professional athletes, yeah, women can run, but if you've ever seen the mixed gender relays at the Olympics, the women show you very quickly, oh, hell no. Yeah, I mean, I can run, but what he does makes me look like I'm walking. As a man, biologically and physically, I'm talking about in literal physical terms, you are a completely different creature. So when a woman is able to get you to submit, and submission is when you make the choice to make her yours and protect and provide for her, that is a status symbol. Because you could kill her or harm her, but she has somehow figured out a way to prevent you from killing her or harming her and to provide and protect for her. You're like fire. You're like lightning. You're like electricity. You're a force of nature. And if she is able to bottle and submit this force of nature to her will, that is what gives her status. She's a rainmaker. She has literally figured out a way to take a force of nature, one of the elements of the universe, and force it to or make it submit to her will. While these other women can't figure out how to get this force of nature to even reply to their text messages. Why do you think Jada Smith went running back to Will? Will knows who runs the damn thing. Why do you think that happens with the fellas who are on top of their alpha game? It happens because when you are being a high value man, most of you think it's about money. I just explained to you what is a high value man. The money represents something. Yeah, you need the money because it represents something. And if you got the car and the membership and the physical build and the intellect, all of those validate and represent something else. Those are the pieces that put together this dragon, this unique creature. As a man, that is what you represent in the eyes of a woman. You represent this otherworldly creature. That's who you are. As a man. And if no one ever explained it to you, and I know they never explained it to you before, this is what you need to know. So that you understand why it is it's not working for her and not working for most women. Because most women today are trying to be the dragon. Most women today are trying to be the tiger on the tail, on the leash. Ladies, you can't be your own dragon. You can't be it. You can set things on fire, but you can't breathe it. You can ride the dragon's back, but you can't fly. You could wish you could burn down the villagers' town, but you can't actually do it. You can't be your own dragon. You have to go out and hunt one or attract one, but you can't be your own dragon. You got to go get one. And you don't choose the dragon. Now, this is the part that Tomi and so many other people, so many other women don't get today. You were told that you can choose the dragon. You do not choose the dragon. The dragon chooses you. The dragon chooses you to be their rider. The dragon chooses not to incinerate your ass on sight like he did the rest of those villagers. The dragon chooses not to rip you to shreds. You don't get to choose, pick and choose. You don't get to be your own dragon. And the great lie that so many of you have been told and taught and conditioned is that you can be your own. No, you can't. That man is going to make you his rider, but you ain't going to put a saddle on his back. Tomi is frustrated because she's trying to find a dragon that will let her throw a saddle on his back and do stupid tricks. I want my dragon to do backflips and roll over. Are you damn me kidding me? No, you were able to punk them French poodles. You were able to punk them Scottish terriers. You can't punk a dragon. The moment you try that, hey, roll over on your back and do a backflip thing, as soon as you suggest that to him, you're going to start seeing the smoke start to wisp out of the sides of his mouth. The room gonna start getting warm. You're trying to use puppet rules with a dragon. It don't work that way. So as men, I want you all to understand you need to become a dragon. Because women, no matter what they say, they are looking to a dragon to submit to. They want that specialness. That is what makes you valuable to a woman. If you lack the ability to do that, you've lost your value to her. You have no value. That's what she means by don't be a bee, but then again, she's coaching you to be a bee. Yes, in the chat room, you actually made a very good point. Tackman Clan Killer, you're absolutely correct. Actually, all she had to do was make one video. Her DMs should be empty. Men around the world should be like, screw this heifer. All she had to do was put out one video saying, I didn't really mean it like that. DMs full again. And she doesn't respect a single damn one of you. Everybody who's in her DMs after she said that, she don't respect a damn one of you. It's going to be the fella who gets up in her face and puts her in her place. That's going to be the one she respects. That'll be the one she respects. Every woman is looking. Women aren't dreaming of a Prince Charming. Prince Charming slayed the dragon. Every woman is looking for a dragon. She don't give a damn about Prince Charming. Prince Charming, they ought to call him Simp Charming. Matter of fact, I'm going to name this program that. Simp Charming and the Dragon. Women tell you they want Prince Charming. They don't want Prince Charming because Prince Charming is Simp Charming. They want the damn dragon. That's what they really want. So when you hear this line about bad boys and thugs and whatnot, that's the dragon breathing fire. What good is a dragon who can't breathe fire? Fellas, they're never gonna lose their desire for a fire breathing dragon. Just ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. So get over that. Just like she's not gonna find a dragon who does stupid dog tricks, you ain't gonna find a female who does not want a dragon. Now, some of them want a little one, some of them want a big one. But the bottom line is she wants it, and she's never gonna stop wanting it. But more importantly, she can't submit to anything else. You can't submit to Prince Charming. He's your damn servant. The dragon is not your servant. So just as a really basic exercise in logic, you need to be her dragon. That's what she's looking for from you. And she's assuming that you know how to be a dragon. Every woman approaches a man. Do you want to know why so many females out here got all these bastard kids and their sexual resumes are so screwed up today? It is because they truly believe that every man has a dragon in him. And once they get into their late 20s, early 30s, and they've made all of these reprehensible vaginal choices, they've committed all these vaginal misdemeanors or vaginal felonies in a lot of your cases. After they've gone off and done that, then they realize, they get the wake up call and realize, oh hell, every man ain't a dragon. Every male, just because he's a male doesn't mean he's a dragon. As a matter of fact, it doesn't mean that he even wants to be, or that he even has the ability to be one. That's what it says. So because a woman can't define what it means to be a man. That's why they make all the wrong decisions. But she does assume that you are a dragon somewhere in there. She assumes you have the potential to become one. So she figures if I sleep with this lizard long enough, one day this lizard or this snake is going to transmogrify Look it up. He's going to morph and change into a dragon if I keep sleeping with him long enough. Ladies, if you sleep with the Budweiser lizards, the Geico gecko, if you sleep with them long enough, it ain't gonna be nothing but a bigger gecko. Or smaller. When you get with a dragon, you better be ready to ride. You better be ready to ride. But understand, you are not going to choose the dragon. The dragon is going to choose you. And you are not going to bark out orders to the dragon. The dragon is going to bring you what you need. But you are not going to bark out orders to him. There was a whole lot to learn from this. I was going to take phone calls, but I ain't going to do that. We're just going to leave because it'll be just a bunch of stupid stuff. Maybe next time. A whole lot you all can learn from this. A whole lot that can be gained from it. I just think there's a lot that wasn't explained. And finally, I think a lot of you now, you see it has been explained. Things that nobody else was telling you because they couldn't. So here it is. But there's a lot for you to learn from this. You're going to see this in a lot of places. It's not enough for you to just disagree with her. You got to understand what's wrong in what she's saying. And these other folk, they chipped around the edges, but they don't have enough life experiences. And furthermore, they don't have enough experience with women that they're able to properly analyze and diagnose what's wrong with what she's saying, and then to tell you what is right. To the ladies who tuned into this program, you didn't just hear what was done wrong, you also heard what needs to be done right. Now, what you do with it is up to you. But now you know what to do. If you are new here to the business, I want to welcome you to this channel. You've gotten a taste of what we do here. You definitely want to subscribe to it and click the yellow notification bell. As you can tell, we just kind of broadcast it any old random time when something strikes me. Most of the archive of what I've done is on my Patreon because YouTube won't let me talk like I need to talk. So if you really want to go 10 tons deep into the game, you definitely want to sign up for our Patreon. And click that subscribe button and notification bell. At least you can keep up what we do here. I move most of my content over there for safety's sake because we can't really do what we need to do here on YouTube. Got some more exclusive stuff coming up here shortly, as a matter of fact. So definitely, if you're not subscribed to it, you're missing a lot. But this was just a taste of what we do. And as you can see, it's not just some guy yelling about, oh, this is something you hadn't heard before. No, these are things you really hadn't heard. And now you can put it into practice. Any buffoon can go out and yell about hypergamy, 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 and being a, quote, high-value man. But to be a man who's able to articulate what it is that the women are really meaning, that's the part that you don't get anywhere else. And this concludes today's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from all around the world, remember, handle your business. Or your business, Tommy, is gonna come handle you.